He's hailed as the second coming, but his reality is a total nightmare. The crowd screamed for blood, demanding exile and ruin, but the boy still called meeting him a blessing. Two warriors clash in the arena as a small crowd watches. One victim drops, cowering in pain. The girl shoves a blade to his nose, declaring a 1-0 lead. Amazing. Princess Fiona just crushed her opponent. She sheathes her blade as the crowd erupts. Another flawless win. Looks like she's going undefeated until graduation. She's Jay's daughter, one of the 7 heroes, and she tells her opponent his skills still need years of work. Defeated by the princess of the background, Urs struggles back up to one knee. Fiona notes Urs's magic and fencing are sharper, but he still hasn't mastered the magic sword. The birds chirped she crushed him. Fiona reminds him they're childhood friends and equals, so drop the formal titles. Just grimaces. Fiona mocks him. He's never won, yet he's becoming a royal knight. If he can't beat her, how can he protect the people? Eris is sick of her constant nagging. Imperial Princess Fiona dominates the academy, and from combat to theory, Urs can't touch her top rank. Fiona catches Urs lost in thought and asks why he's even listening. She keeps nagging him about his loss and he's hitting his limit. He turns away to ignore her, but the princess snaps that she's wasting royal time just to lecture him. Urs overhears 2 girls nearby calling him strong and wildly cool. They definitely want to get to know him. Fiona overhears the girls gushing over his top-tier grades and massive wealth. Fiona snaps, leaping at the girls to settle the score with her fists. Fiona grabs her shoulders, telling her to back off. He's successful, but he's still a total pervy nerd. Her eyes are wild, claiming the library is packed with smut. He's got a cute face and killer looks, but she can't believe they fell for him. This won't end well. Fiona calms the girls and they all agree Urs isn't even a man to them. They start giggling, but a furious Urs heard it all. He clutches his head, fuming that this princess ruins everything every single time. Urs felt played. Every win was a trap. Does she hate him that much? He shakes it off and exhales. It's fine, because his heart already belongs to someone else. Girls whispered, too embarrassed to face Fiona, but the princess suddenly turned and spoke to the guy. She asks Urs, wouldn't your hero Deb be disappointed in you right now? He's pushed to the limit. Those fancy words have him shaking with rage. Back at the castle, class breaks and students flood the halls to compare test answers. One guy fears failing while the rest whisper, dreading tomorrow's brutal training as he nurses his aching legs. Guards patrol the halls, complaining that the new generation is weak. One blames the era of peace and the other sighs in sad agreement. Voice calls for Kylo, alerting the guards. Enraged Urge blasts thunder magic, dueling Princess Fiona in the arena. The guard peeks past the wall and spots Lord Hero's son. He trains through the break but still loses to Fiona. Despite her elite bloodline, her peers are just as strong. Lord Hero dominated the war, earning the title of hero. The elites lost. Something's fishy. 7 heroes saved Maikien from the Demon King, and Ursa's father was one of them. The world expects greatness from a hero's son, but he's stuck in second place and society is ruthless. Guards gossip about the hero's elite kids, calling them naturally gifted before dropping the subject. Urs creeps up behind the guards, exhausted and fuming. They instantly freeze, realizing he heard every word. They turn to the youth as he mocked the pathetic imperial knights he'd just shown them. He questions their inaction, but the knight warns they're powerless against the princess. Still, he refuses to just sit idly by. Urs is cringing at the lecture. The guard says his dad beat the Demon King at 18, but he's joining the Imperial Knights for brutal training after graduation. A man sneaks up behind them, confirming the truth and ordering them to watch his idiot son once he enters the Knights. Lord Hero stood tall, ready for a fight and oozing confidence. Urs scowls at his father while the guards go wild for Mr. Hero. Overworked and fed up, he wondered why he was still there. Lord Hero turned to his son, asking what he lost to baby Fiona. Ears shut his father down, sick of the talk. Lord Hero admitted he felt the same about Jay, having lost to Fiona's father over and over. His opponent's a girl. He clearly hated that talk. Hero declared the war over and peace certain, but as an academy student, he was immediately thrust into battle with his mother in the East Village. He's at it again, bragging about his wins. Even in this mess, Lord Hero won't stop yapping about his girl. There's new training from scratch under his father would have let him crush the princess. Lord Hero on the mistake, blaming his job. Lord tells him to just follow the instructor, saying, Bird thought his dad did nothing, teaching him only the basics. He trained like a madman, and now everyone's counting on him. Back then, he only learned to face danger and slay monsters. He clenches his fist in rage as Lord Hero tells Urs he's a late bloomer who needs to stay patient. Urs pressed his workaholic dad about the slow grower comment, finally forcing Lord Hero to stop and listen. Urs asked his father if his training was finally enough. Furious, he glares at his dad with wild eyes, demanding to know why second place is such a failure. Urs saw his dad trying his best to comfort him and just wanted some praise, but Lord Hero stayed silent and confused. Ignoring his dad's silence, Ur fumed and tusked. He stormed off, telling Lord Hero it sucked and he didn't need his pity. Hero just sighed. Back home, Urs wailed like a total idiot. That talk with his father left him feeling uneasy. Ur creaks the gate open and announces he's home. He peeks past the wall and spots a girl. Watering flowers, she hears him return and turns to face him. She welcomes him home, but her look baffles Urs. His heart races. She smiles sweetly, orders him back to class, and calls him a little virgin. Urs hated her tone, convinced she was being snide. Meet Sadie's, the family's personal maid. War killed her parents before he was born, so Urz's mother took the orphan in. She was more big sister than maid. She's a busty pervert, but he still wants to make her his wife. Eris ditched class because he was bored, so the girl mocked his slug-like mental stability. Sadie asks about his latest loss to Princess Fiona, and Urs sighs, reliving the bitter defeat. Sadie's read his face and called it predictable, but Urs cut in, saying she was dead wrong. He brags his grades are high enough to skip class and still join the Imperial Knights. He asks if becoming a knight was his father's dream, and Sadie's finally realizes why he's so nervous. She told him to meet the master right. Zeppers thanks her for the support, but he's sick of hearing the same thing about the hero's son. He's sick of the constant comparisons. Zetas told the kid he's carrying way too many expectations. Hero killed the Demon King, but his academy days were a total nightmare. Unlike Arza, he's crushing it at the academy. Everyone's hooked on his insane growth. His dreams are a gift, proving how much they all love him. Satiz's words leave Ur stunned. He expected a trap from this sharp-tongued pervert, but she's always there to pick him up. That's why he fell for Sadie's. She turns away, fixes her blouse, and promises a special reward if he tries his best. This guy gives me the creeps. Zeta promises him his favorite childhood omelet, a dish he's only ever dreamed of. She closed in, totally confused, until he lost control and told her to shut up. Urs leaps back, screaming for Sadie's to shut up. He snapped, face turning beet red with fury. Sadist isn't sure she cheered him up, but it's time for the sealed room's annual cleaning. He storms inside, finds the room, and Sadist asks if he wants to watch. He agrees, so Sadist heads off for cleaning supplies. Urs drops the buckets, she hands him the keys, and tells him to go have fun with the legendary sword. Sadie's chuckles, wishing him luck on the steel. She knows he'll fail, but he sarcastically claims he isn't even doing it. Urs chuckled, heading down the hall to the massive door. He reached her, finding the door buried under heavy locks and chains. Before Urs was born, the Great War ravaged the land, pitting the Demon King's army against Lord Hero and his 7 human champions. Humanity won the war as Sword finally took down the Demon King. Behind this door, the sword sits on a sealed pedestal. As a kid, Urz's heart raced whenever they met, but now he's all grown up. He stepped forward to open the door. Locks cleared, he forces open the heavy door, but Urs is instantly stunned by what he finds. A horned man flies ahead in the hall, hears a rustle, and announces the door is open. The demon turns to the door, noting it hasn't opened in a year. Orange froze in shock, unable to identify the figure. Man, woman, no, it was something else entirely. The demon says the door opened 15 times, that's 15 years. Urs spotted the horns, it's a demon. The demon eyes Urs as she enters, declaring she's no ordinary maid. He eyes the guy, certain he's the hero's offspring. He'd recognize that nasal voice anywhere. He snapped, demanding the demon's identity and how he got into this mess. Urs wondered if he was a thief, but why the demon form? Shocked, the demon asked what Urs saw. Urs fumes, ready to fire back, but the door behind him creaks. Sadie turns to her, he's making noise. He's going for a sword, isn't he? He yells to Sadie's, pointing right at a creepy stranger. Sadie scanned the room, nothing. She had no clue what eras meant. Shocked he's the only one seeing the demon, Sadie mocks him, claiming his long-term virginity is causing hallucinations, which is expected at his age. He pulls him aside, asking if it's all just a prank. Sadist grabs a bucket for water, leaving Urs terrified to be alone with the demons. The demon stunned, only Urs can see him in this form. Terrified, grabs a mop and charges the demon. He blasts the mop with magic to defend himself. The demon laughs, calling it a magic sword technique, but it's just a trick. The demon tells Urs his weapon is trash compared to the hero's magic sword. Urs snaps and lunges at the demon, barking at him to shut his mouth for good. The demon laughs off the strike as useless. Urs phases right through him, dealing 0 damage. Demon mocks Urs, his ghostly body makes every attack mere mischief. Stunned, he asks about the transparent body. The guy is clueless, but the demon admits he hasn't talked to anyone in ages. Time to introduce himself. Grinning, the demon reveals his name is Trainar, the same demon king his father once defeated. Ur was in total disbelief. Everyone knows the demon king Trainar, defeated by Urs's father and lost to history. Meeting him was impossible. Urs blacks out from the strain. Sade screams, but it's useless. Urs snaps his eyes open, thinking it was all just a nightmare. Erskine sits up to find Saudis by his side, looking worried sick. He squeezed Urs tight, glad he's back. Confused, he struggles to break free, but she grips him tight. Urs asks Saddle if this is his room, but Saddle's stunned he's already forgotten. Sade returned with water to find him collapsed by the pedestal. He's already fine, telling her it was just a quick dizzy spell. Urs looks up to find the demon Trainar looming right over him. The guy screams in terror as Sadis looks up. She calmly insists nothing's there, but the demon's right beside her, grinning at him. She mocks Urs, refusing to play along or tell the kid the demon king is right there. She tells Urs to have fun while she cooks, then slams the door in his face and heads to the kitchen. Demon Trainar repeats his words. Urs tenses up, confused why he's the only one who can see the demon. Trainar reveals only Urs can see him. Urs asks, "Are you the great demon king Trainar?" Demon confirms it. Urs glares at Trainar's smug demonic face. Still annoyed, he plays along with the demon's trainer claim, but demands to know how he got into the armory. Trainar lost a hero, trapping his spirit inside a sword ever since. Hero unknowingly kept the sword, trapping him in that room for 15 years. Only he can see him, and now he owes him big. Birds think the demon king's ghosts haunt him, but Trainar calls that rude. As a ghost, he can't touch the world, and he's stuck here forever. Bored with the ending, Trainar demands errors take him to the outside world. He fiercely snapped back, refusing to ever do it. He's the demon king, he can't leave this place no matter what. Trainar chuckled, questioning his honesty and wondering if just misunderstood. The demon claims he's the all-powerful demon king and demands submission, but Hears is confused. Didn't he say he couldn't touch this world? Catches Trainar's stare and tells the demon he brought this on himself. Still annoyed, Trainar rejects the invite, so tells him to fix his face. Trainar gets serious and turns. Screams it's too close, but he's immaterial, he can't push it back. Approved, taking Trainar outside and leaving the demon thrilled. He gears up, realizing it's just a quick stroll through the city. Steps into the hall just as Saudis arrives, and she immediately asks where he's headed. Says he's heading to the city. She pauses, then asks again if he's just taking a walk. Saudis rejects his answer and hurls knives and forks, pinning him to the wall. She asks if he has a death wish, clearly thrilled by his attitude and refusing to let him leave. Trainar's stunned. She neutralized him without a scratch. Is she really just a maid? Sadis tells she originally planned to pamper him today. Crushed by Fiona's win and a fight with his dad, she cheers him up with his favorite childhood sword. Sadis says he fainted and plans a private bathroom dinner. He knows he's in big trouble. He begs Sadie to baby him, claiming he's sick, but she calls his bluff. If he's heading to the city, he's fine. He skipped class, now he pays. Trainar and tense up as the guy demands Say switch him in. The guys leave school, but Ursides totally spent from last night. Sadie finally lets him go, but he's already eyeing a new problem, Trainar. Perched on a lantern, the demon asks what it is. Explains it's a magic light for the night. Trainar hops in and asks what it is. Explains it's a steam engine powered by water and magic. Train shouted it was amazing, noting the gap between humans and demons. Called him a brat. Asks the demon for his take on the city so far. Trainar paused, then asked for his opinion. Humanity is thriving, but they've forgotten the past, and now horror is everywhere. Seeing these drunks passed out on the ground sickens the enemy. Trainar vowed to destroy everything if he lived. Shook, fearing for his life and all mankind. Trainar calmly adds, his feelings don't matter anymore. His defeat birthed this world. He sees a city built on human grit. This is reality. Trainar knows he's beaten and helpless, but tomorrow, he's tearing it all down. Is dazed, Trainar's weird, nothing like the bloodthirsty tyrant from his books. He scans the city, watching helplessly, knowing he's powerless to act. From behind, he looks lonely. Knew he just can't say it. Trainar had one regret, the hero standing before him, screaming that it was the end. The hero roars that the world's strength is in his blade, raising it to slay the demon lord. Slumped nearby, an exhausted Trainar couldn't believe the hero would do this in public. Blinding light erupts from the hero's sword. Trainar screams a warning, but a massive explosion instantly obliterates him. Trainer smirks, claiming the 7 heroes drained everyone's power just to stop him. He buried his face and screamed. Thought that was it. Asks about the fallen. Trainer wonders why they jumped him, and presses, "Where's his army?" He still had allies, but Trainer turned away and silenced his questions. Worried he'd gone too far. He'd clearly touched a nerve with Trainer. Trainer eyes the counter. The demon's hyped its fate. He asks to watch it tonight, shocked there's a sequel, but confirms the series is a massive hit. Trainer's eyes turned sinister as he grabbed shoulders, demanding he buy it. Asks why, but Trainer reveals he's been a fan since birth. He stares him down, demanding the book now or he'll never stop whispering in his ear. Brands him pure evil as he heads for the store. Screams he's got the demon, racing to finish before he's late, but Trainer says it's. Tells Trainer to stop shouting. He can hear his inner voice just fine. And Trainer arrive at the academy. The bell rings and the guys head to class. Trainer sat by eyeing the back desks. Demon asks who the girl is, and Eris reveals she's a princess. Trainer recognized Princess Fiona as Hero Jay's daughter, telling the spear hero had a child. He's got this group figured out. She's a total genius. Trainer eyes her closely, noticing her massive aura and perfectly precise pen strokes. Demon claims her martial arts are just as strong. Fumed. Even the Demon King was obsessed with the princess. Trainer kept his eyes locked on her. Trainer's about to speak to but someone calls out to him first. Someone cracks a book over his head. Teacher tells he's brave for ignoring his lecture. Teacher calls out for staring, leaving him stunned while Princess Fiona turns beet red. Fiona hid behind her book, gasping for air under gaze. Panic surged. She was paralyzed and clueless. The student fails, so the teacher punishes by demanding he name the world's 3 legendary magical eyes and Demon King Trainer's specific powers. Outraged, asks if he really. Teacher snaps he'd know if he paid attention. Storms off, ignored. He knows the names, but their skills are trash. He listed the eyes, Heraldic Moonlight, and the one held by the great King Trainer. Trainer yells for him to stop. It's a trick. The heraldic eye was a lie, his real secret and strongest eye of all. Yells Eye of the 6 Gates, leaving the teacher stunned. Checking his book, he asks what's going on, then realizes he just botched the teacher's question. The teacher snaps, accusing him of bullying. Looks for backup, but the teacher reveals he possesses the Eye of the 6 Gates, the same power he used in the final battle. Teacher slaps with detention, leaving him and Train fuming. Blames Trainer's lies for this mess, but the demon scoffs, insisting he told the truth and the history teacher is the one lying. Hero's son and top student, he better not screw up this match. Leaving school, fumes over the demon delay. Trainer says it's not his fault, but insists he's to blame. Demon turns back, asking about the match teacher Imbecile mentioned. He's talking about the graduation match, the academy's biggest event. Top swordsmen duel on horizontal bars to impress the king and his nobles. High ratings make this a prime scouting ground for combat organizations. Trainer says his idiot teacher told him to get serious, making the demon wonder if he's been prepping. Says no, he's just bracing for the shame. Trainer asks if it's Princess Fiona, he's the one always talking to her. Had no clue what the demon meant. Trainer reminds him he reads minds, exposing his obvious envy. He's powerless against her, and being a disgrace to his father doesn't even matter anymore. He wants to return, but he's surrendered. It's impossible. He's just a genius stuck in a well, quitting the second he realized he was a weakling. Enraged, he snaps at Trainer to stop joking. What does he even know about him? Trained and studied relentlessly, but constant failures and public scorn crushed him as he struggled to meet everyone's expectations. Trainer couldn't recognize what he'd become. He was a different man before. The demon mocked, "Is this your counterargument?" Was the fool he expected, a lucky idiot stumbling into miracles. He couldn't surpass his father, he was just like the rest. Those words stung and he clenched his fist in pure rage. Snapped, calling him a bastard. He lost, and tension instantly spiked in Trainer. Screams he can't surpass his father. Train lost, then made excuses that it wasn't a fair 1v1. He insisted he'd win a 1v1, but just mocked the demon, demanding more excuses. He's just spewing one excuse after another. Don't let that demon lecture him on power. Trainer snaps, growing to a massive size. The demon mocks him for making excuses, the audacity. Demon roars scoundrel as trembles in terror. Trainer reminded him he's the Demon King. He's the proof he's more powerful than any hero. Trainer points him out, shouting he's using it. He'll teach him the Demon King's own power. The world will witness his power again. Trainer tells him the tournament hasn't started yet. First they check the basics. Instinctum shuts it down. Furious, the trainer demands to know why he's refusing. Urz's answer, it's pure suffering. He warns the demon the tournament is in 2 months. The princess is taking first, no one can catch her that fast. Trainer's only challenge, getting him to study. He's easy to teach at first, but he's terrified of the next level. Ursa grinded through academy drills, solo practice, and even recruited the night-certified Saudis to train him. This prodigy ruins every bit of his hard work. The hero's son is a total letdown. Everyone calls him a weakling, trashing the new generation. Urs hates how they ignore his effort, and he's finally fed up with the nonsense. Trainer told him he lacked drive because he was underestimating himself. The demon asks about his future. He's becoming an imperial knight. The demon asks, was this his choice or someone else's? Without a goal, he'll never find the drive. Thought becoming an imperial knight would solve everything, but he refuses to be a special warrior. Everyone expected him to follow his father, but he questioned if it was his own dream. Urs flies solo and needs to find his own path. Trainer sets a realistic goal, win the tournament in 2 months. Urs is fuming, it's just too fast. Trainer says he needs a 2-month goal. Forget peace and justice, dirty motives are the best fuel. Soon they drop a ladder in the backyard. He had no clue what to do with it. Trainer calls it stair training, but Urs is still clueless. This training boosts his endurance and agility. Now, master the final step. Trainer names it magic step, but Urs calls it lame, making Trainer pout instantly. He forgot Trainer reads minds. Awkward, now Trainer's making him an example. Knew studying with the Demon King would one day shake the world. Train stopped the student at the stairs and told him he was leaving. He bolts from his seat, arms wide, and bounds up the stairs. He sticks the landing and poses, but Urs is just confused. The angry trainer ordered him to plant his legs and stand before the stairs. He leaps forward, clearing the stairs without touching the railing. The demon later dubs this the straight jump, and nods, understanding everything. Urs laughed. Trainer looked like a total bug jumping around in those clothes. Demon glares at Lee's interrogator, and quickly apologizes. Urs knew he was in trouble. He'd have to mask his thoughts around him. Next drill, zigzag jumps. Train orders him to hop up the stairs with his legs locked together. Urs imagines jumping like a shrimp as Trainer glares him down again. Trainer orders a new drill. Jump, snap your legs together, then spread them wide. He's gotta be in Kenkenpa fast. Urs pictures it, kids and a demon jumping, shouting Kenkenpa. He yells to Trainer it's his turn, and the demons are loving it. He jumps shouting Kenkenpa. Trainer shoots him a death stare and asks how he wants to die. Trainer doubts Urs's training, but Urs insists he gets it and offers an apology. Trainer gets serious. He's teaching one of those 3 steps, but you must use the magic attribute, he calls out. Urs gets the plan, jump and cast. He leaps, but Trainer shouts to add cross steps and fire magic. He fails, nothing's working, and his body refuses to obey. Trainer chuckles, claiming these stairs will skyrocket his movement and dexterity. New techniques let him cast while moving, fixing his mistake of only focusing on his steps. He can't write and talk at once. The louder sound just drowns out the weaker one. Moving without thinking is easy. Master this and body and mind unite. Urs sees the secret. Fiona's attacks are lightning fast. He can't even react in time. Trainer orders Urs back to training. Hyped, he agrees with the demons. Trainer demands a yes sir from now on. Agrees, and the demon orders an aerial crossing step, telling him to land on both feet next time. Urs collapses, legs shaking and head spinning. His trainer warns if he's tired now, he'll never win. He tests the demon's magic ladder, but Urs thinks the name is trash. He's already gassed. Wasn't his training supposed to pay off? Trainer orders daily warm-ups before they master body techniques. Urs was confused. Why talk body techniques during a sword fight? Urza mastered the magic sword, following in his hero father's footsteps. The trainer scraps sword training. The guy's got 0 talent. One look and the demon knew that fighting style didn't fit him. His sword burns massive mana for 1 strike, requiring elite skill. Too bad Durg has 0. He's livid. 15 years of sword training, all for nothing. Urs fuming, Trainer reveals he's been watching him for days. He's got a grit his dad lacks, preaching flexibility like a spring sprout. He's set to inherit the next hero title from his mother, Priestess Maria. Trainer tells him his talent isn't swords, it's body technique. He has the talent the princess lacks and could even crush the hero. Trainer's claim shocks Urza laughs, knowing everyone's in for a shock. Hero H's son wields a sword. Trainer asks if he hates the plan, but Urza's ready to shock everyone. Now confident, he asks Trainer to teach him his true power. Suddenly Sadis appears behind Urz, stone-faced, asking who he's talking to. Urz whips around nervously as Sadist mocks him for needing an imaginary friend. No wonder his bag was massive. He eyed the object on the ground, deep in thought. Sadist asks if he invented the training. Says it was his imaginary friend's idea. Typical Sadis, but did she even realize the true goal of this fun workout? Asks why she's here. Sadis hands him the menu he requested, valid for only 1 month. Thanks her and takes it. He and Trainar scan the text. Trainar calls the menu rich. Ursa thinks he means the variety, but Trainar shuts him down. That's not it. She tailors every meal to his exact needs. One look at the menu proves she's obsessed with his health. Staring at the menu, he remembers Sadis lost her family to the Demon King. His mom saved her from death, and they've lived together ever since. Ursa's parents returned home to a joyful greeting as he asked if they knew what he'd done today. His parents apologize and ditch him for dinner. His parents told him to go to bed and slammed the door in his face, leaving devastated. He notices and asks what happened to him. She saw his top grade, he clearly put in the work. She sits beside him, announcing they're celebrating today with a special treat. Sadis raised him while his parents were gone, not blood-related, but she was closer than any real sister. Trainer saw Urza's feelings and told him to confess. Sadist sees his upset face and asks if this is what he wanted. Suddenly, Hero vows to win the tournament in 2 months. She's stunned. Weighs the perks of marrying Sadist, but it's too early for that or even a kiss. Those are off-limits until they're actually dating. Demands she date him now, then asks me to touch her chest, leaving her and Trainar completely baffled. An awkward silence hit the guys. Instantly knew he messed up. He apologized and denied everything, swearing it was just a mistake. Errors know this takes stages. Saddam's way too clean. Daytasa loomed over the crowd, forcing the guy to instantly apologize. Recoiled but said it was fine, then immediately called his request disgusting. This bastard claimed he'd win the tournament, stunning her. Sadist calls him a cretin, promising he can touch her chest all day if he wins the tournament, then ditches Fired up, he roars that training starts now. Crazy Eyes turned to Trainar and declared he's definitely winning. The demon demands dirty motives. He agrees, win the tournament, get the bust, and he feels amazing. Soon he'll become the worst, losing Sadas. Trainer tells him it's fine, the warm-up continues. Train the told errors to crush him. This catches him completely off guard. Trainer says shadowing and sparring are standard training. Shadow arts let you read and dodge every strike. This isn't a normal spar, is fighting a ghost. Train names his ghost shadow training Phantom Sparring. Ears asks if they're finally fighting for real, and Trainer confirms it's go time. Grinned, calling it interesting. Before this, he only sparred weaklings or a bratty princess at school. The massive skill gap made it a total waste of time. Knew that was a lie. Between deadly rivals and the school's warped power scale, his training was anything but normal. He figures fighting the Demon King will at least be fun. Trainer tells he'll stay grounded and fight normally, magic or not. Asks the demon if he can strike his ghost form. Trainer said his strength makes him unstoppable. Suddenly, the trainer blitz right past Picture the blade piercing his throat. He collapses, clutching his throat. Trainer asks if he's okay, realizing he just pierced his neck. Knew it was impossible, it was all in his head. That fatal neck wound was all in his head. He shook violently, no pain but death was all he could feel. Trainer mocks him, asking if this is all the hero's son can do. Enraged, he screams at the demon and lunges at Trainer, but he dodges. Trainer mocks calling his charge the move of a spoiled brat. Same smug look, saw it coming. Used his fist as bait to land a surprise kick. Swings at the demon, but blocks with 2 fingers. The demon asks choice or instinct, one more step and he's dead. Flies back, blasting the demon with mega thunder. A massive glowing wall erupts right in front of him. Good thing Trainer can't see him now. He steps into the circle, triggering a mega earthquake. Vanishes, the guy knows he's in trouble. Trainer is already soaring right over his head. He expected a tactical move, but the demon used his friend for a direct strike. Trainer says they follow thunder with earth. It's basic and predictable, but he admits it's not bad. And he'll learn his lesson too. First, tests the Demon King's power. Princess Fiona's eyes snap open in bed. She sat up, realizing she'd fallen asleep. Makes sense after today. Princess Fiona relives her childhood in a nostalgic dream. Tiny heroes pulled her into her dream. Suddenly a knock rings out. The princess lets the maid in, who apologizes for the intrusion. The maid hands Fiona a letter. She grabs it and inspects it closely. Hits the dirt, gasping for air after training. Trainer grins, calling it overkill. This is their new daily routine plus stare training. Couldn't land a single hit, no special moves, just basic attacks anyone could copy. Beaten and pierced, the assault loops in his mind, shattering his once proud ego. Can't touch Fiona, but he can still wreck the others. He'll hold the line for now, even if he feels totally powerless. Trainer asks what's wrong. Desperate and helpless, admits he never realized how weak he truly was. Wallowing in disappointment, suddenly gets a breakthrough. He tells Trainer his father once defeated him. He only survived thanks to the other heroes. Unlike a real fight would have ended him. He knew that Ghost had already killed him multiple times. Asks how his dad beat the demon, but Trainer knows nothing. Explains his father was always too busy. Face-to-face talks become lectures and old stories. Trainer asks if he's really listening to this rude guy. Stays silent. Trainer claims the grief as his own. On the surface, Hero is a total scumbag. But his path to slaying the Demon King was brutal. He needs the hero's origin. Thinks of his father, the man who gave him nothing but complexes. Hated the hero's old generation talk, but Trainer had a reality check. Wisdom is only useful if you actually listen. Finally gets that adult longing. He knows their struggle. Turns to the demon and asks to hear his story too. Needed to know how humans toppled the Demon King. And Trainer finally reach the city. The guy whines about his legs, so the demon mocks him for being a weak, spoiled rich brat. Yesterday was just light sparring and stair drills, but sarcastically tells the demon it was plenty. Princess Fiona summons Urza. Calls her Princess Fiona, then instantly corrects it to just Fiona. She's surprised to see him here, but admits he usually writes in carriages too. He asks why she's unescorted, then notices something in her hands. She held an empty glass. Fiona panics, insisting the shop's juice is the best. She claims she just finished her drink, not that she's been waiting all morning. Awkwardly says it's fine. Fiona suggests walking to school together and he agrees, but Trainer realizes she was actually lying in wait. Fiona asks what he's doing after graduation. Scowled, telling her it was nothing special. Fiona reminds him, the graduation tournament is no friendly battle. Crowds watch as the princess is crowned queen, but she asks if he truly knows her heart. Awkwardly fessed up. Princess Fiona was groomed for the throne from day one. He realized they weren't the same, one was only in it for Sadie's chest. Fiona reminds him of yesterday's class. She caught him staring and asked if he liked her. He said yes. Fiona confirms it's clear, she wins the graduation tournament. And they announce it to her publicly. He thought he knew it all, now he's going all out. He'd only say that about old years. He apologizes to Fiona, then vows to win. Yesterday's training finally unlocked his true potential. He's trying to look good for Saudis and the guys. To uncover his father's past, he has to win. Tells the girl he won't quit. Fiona asks again and doubles down, the confession was real. Nothing wrong with that, but he can't let her find out about his deal with Saudis. Furious, she snapped back, finally seeing the truth. And they're fighting for real. Trainer realized they weren't on the same page. Looks fun, so he's keeping quiet. And Fiona heard the massive crowd right ahead. He realized he forgot but chose to ignore it. Forget his next obstacle. They yelled to the crowd that they were home. But Earth wasn't thinking about the barrier. Young Fiona was told to focus, so she grabbed her notebook and started writing. A voice calls from the street and she bolts out the window. The woman tries to stop her, but she's already gone. She leaps from the window to her friends. Livid, the woman snapped at Fiona, barking that it's strictly forbidden. Bird's arrival and food stood by the girl. The woman warns the boys, stop distracting the princess or she's snitching to their parents. He told her Fiona's a hero, so it counts as a study. He'd never give it to a Demon King lookalike. Enraged, she snaps, asking who he's calling a Demon King. She warns he'll never be a hero like his father, but tells her she's dead wrong. Who's the world's top mage, rivals the ultimate swordsman, and Fiona's the peak spearman. Shouts he'll surpass his father and become the world's strongest hero. Saudis tells he'll eventually have to slay an evil version of her, leaving the future hero absolutely livid. Just a childhood story. With friends, would find his father's strength and erase all doubt. He's clueless about the nightmare ahead. Trader asks what went down. Like and Fiona, they're children of the 7 heroes and childhood friends. The tall rival is the son of a legendary hero and sword master. He's even better than Fiona and knows he's the Academy's strongest, so he tells the noisy crowd to get lost. The slender Fu is the Academy's top mage and son of a legendary hero. He's a friendly guy, thanking everyone and bringing gifts. Fiona's letters said they'd be away at school, but they're back already. I didn't catch her full explanation. Top 2 usually study abroad, but the princess refused, so 2nd and 3rd place went instead. Trainer says they bumped him from 2nd, but tells him to shut up. Who spots Fiona and standing nearby. Princess Fiona drops the royal act for her childhood friend and he agrees, it's been way too long. The guy claims Eris hasn't changed, but rival hopes he's grown stronger. Eris agrees. Fiona reveals Errors trains non-stop but can't improve, leaving him absolutely furious. Fiona asks the guys about their struggles abroad. Fu confirms it as 5 dragons swarm in, and he and his rival join the suppression unit to fight. They crushed it, scored a medal, and left the guys in total awe. 50% reduction fits 60-80% goal or better. Let's try one more for maximum energy, Trainer says the hero's kids are all. The guy in the crowd challenges Fu to show off his skills from abroad. Fu shyly asks to see it right now, and the guys are all in. Fu says he's out of options, but warns them not to expect a miracle. Fu poses, magic circles erupting beneath his feet. Fu's flame tongue instantly lit up everything. Stared in total disbelief. How insane is Mega Level? Final string, the guys peeked out, sensing the power. Errors was shocked it was only low level. If that's the bottom, how insane. The guys stood frozen in shock. Fu asks why they're disappointed, but the guys roar, it was incredible. They're absolutely floored. Mocks the magic with sarcasm, and raging Fu. Rival demands to know what's so unexpected. How was this unexpected? Rual turns to and asks to speak. They spent a year training abroad and returned with absolute skills. Can't win like this. He acted cold at the Fu Magic show, then asked what she thought of him. He tries to answer his rival, but vanishes instantly. Rival drops behind massive blade at his back, demanding to know what satisfied his curiosity. Told him showing off at the academy is a waste of time. Rival asks if he knows why they graduated and came home. Rival doesn't wait, declaring they're back to win the royal tournament. These hero-born heirs will surpass their parents and gain global fame, and he's dedicating this victory to him. Thought he knew it all. This isn't just a fight with Fiona. He was outmatched then, and he's doomed now. Fiona snaps, warning the guys she won't make it that easy. She admits they leveled up abroad, but she wasn't slacking. She apologizes, but she's not letting him win. Rival glared at the girl. He admits Fiona's strong, but he's not backing down. Rival dropped to one knee, vowing to marry her after his victory. Fiona and are stunned. Eris couldn't trust Fiona or the rival's union after what he'd become, even as the others cheered. Confused, Fiona tells him they're just friends. Rual already knew. He knows who she loves, and he's still watching it all happen. Rival glares at leaving him frozen in disbelief. Rual begs Fiona to see him as a man, leaving fuming. A match between the Sword Master's son and the princess is perfect, so wishes them the best. Trainer was moved, but the demon asked if Yuads really disagreed with the guy's defeat. Asks the demon if he saw that power. That sword nearly took his eye. They're outmatched, but the trainer doesn't get the danger. He'd actually fear fire dragons or megatier magic. Or he's just scared of the guys who spent a year abroad. He laughs, calling it child's play. The 7 heroes' kids will be stunned to hear how he crushed the Demon King. To him, it was just basic magic. Lifts him blankly, baffled by talk of the underworld and Dragon King, names he's never heard before. 2 months of his training beats a century at any other school, so he tells to trust him. Trainer asks the hyped guy who he thinks his master is. Calls out the guy kneeling before Fiona. He apologizes for the interruption, but he's taking the win. Isn't sure it's right, but he's taking the risk. Trainard offers advice as payment, but stunned, is this a demonic contract? Trainer orders to announce his goals publicly, burning every escape route so he's forced to succeed. Rival rises, telling Eris he understands. Rival asked what it meant and decided to join in. Yuads had something he couldn't give up either, certain he'd crush the genius easily. The crowd roared at the news as aimed for the win. Princess Fiona crouched, trembling, certain her social blunder would spark a wave of rumors. Give up might mean is the thing she can't give up. No, had stopped Rival, and what he can't give up suggests stopped too. Who asks Ares and Rival who to support, their childhood friends. The crowd erupted, cheering for the spectacle. Faces the roaring crowd and admits he'll never get used to it. Class starts, the teacher lectures, but Trainard's already over it. He calls these elite imperial lessons, but the demon scoffs at the low level, leaving totally baffled. Trainer sighs, insisting he's just being honest. Why waste time solving problems on paper? Is lost and asks for an explanation. Trainer says to just plug numbers in for auto calculations, but a confused still doesn't get it. Trainer says seeing is believing, so he tells him to start mastering new magic. To learn it, he needs a magic symbol. Starts sketching instantly, and a shocked Trainer asks if he was already prepared. Trainer orders to repeat the demon chant, Vendo deputy I ekron, feudo face benri, development complete. Math formulas flood brain. He recognizes his own creation, the peak of computational magic. Eris immediately starts scribbling on his sheet. He checks his paper through the magic ball and freezes. The answer's already there. Urs demands to know what it is, but Trainer just laughs in his face. This magic handles any formula. Add, subtract, multiply, or divide. The spell does the math for him. Trainer mocks Urs, calling him a little girl. Demon explains his new auto-config invention, leaving Urs stunned. With this, the graduation test is a total joke. The teacher kicks off the 56 tasks. Teacher calls Eris to the board to write the answer. Confused at first, he hits the board to cast his new spells. One look through the magic circle and everything finally clicks. Urs grabs the chalk, claiming the answer flows from his hand as he hammers the solution onto the board. Waved it off, certain he could solve anything. Teacher stunned, he crushed the example with ease. He turns from the board with a smirk, knowing he nailed the problem, and heads back to his seat. Teacher turns to the smug Urs and demands his calculations. The Rs and Trainer are blindsided. They weren't ready for this. The teacher suspects Urs cheated on the tough problem, but Urs denies it instantly. Impressed by the boy's integrity, the trainer admits he was wrong to doubt him. Wakes up and asks the trainer where they are. The place is a total void. Demon smirks, revealing they're inside his mind. He invented Veer, a magic that forces targets to sleep so he can control their dreams, from world conquest to beautiful women. Stuck in a boring class, they're training in his mind. He thought this white void was just a dream. He thinks he's a hallucination, but Trainer confirms he's real. Trainer says their souls are linked, letting them communicate. Using the Veer, he enters the same dream and can create anything. Urs reveals they're actually together in a dream. He tried flirting with Saudis and manifesting an erotic dream, but Trainer warns of Veer can form subconsciously without the user even realizing it. He's gotta be careful. These dreams are easy to trigger, and Verse warns they're dangerously addictive. Trainer says a hero once hid in his dreams, and his entire country was destroyed. Otherwise, his spirit body is useless. Trainer flushes as Urs questions the spell. Trainer says it's no spell, just his raw magic leaking as an aura. He just let her out, and this is barely a fraction of his power. Trainer maxes its power, spawning a massive vortex that terrifies Urs. Trainer reveals his great demonic spiral of the devil's breakthrough, but cringes at another trash name. Trainer tries to intimidate him, but Urs instantly folds, begging for mercy and praising the Demon King's insane technique. Every word dragged Urs deeper into the demon's incarnation, spiraling him into a vortex. He spins in the vortex until the force slams him to the ground. Urs panics, claiming he's dead. Trainer scoffs, use this on a human and they're instant minced meat. Trainer tells the exhausted guy to sit up. A chair appears and he takes a seat at a small table. The demon halts the action, demanding a talk before they move on. Demons and humans store and unleash magic from internal containers. Trainer sketches a figure on the board, explaining that magic flows through internal streams, and more streams mean more power. Trainer uses a water bag analogy. More holes mean more flow. Fewer magic streams mean mega-class spells lose their punch. Trainer warns more streams drain mana faster, but he'll be fine if he manages his output. Born to elite mages, you're destined for greatness with extra magic streams. Urs realized Trainer was right. Fu and Fiona's massive magic streams gave them a natural, superior edge. Train tells the errors their next move. Demon promised to multiply his magic streams. Trainer diagrams the board. Magic streams aren't fixed, and unlocking hidden ones will skyrocket Earth's potential. Urza leaps from his seat, demanding to know how to open them. Trainer reveals he's already used this method to buff an entire army. He dodged the question, demanding the demon explain how he did it. Trainer says he used acupuncture. Trainer's words left the guy in a total daze. Trainer and Urs return as the demon lays out sharp needles on his desk. Urs double-checks if he really has to stab himself. Trainer confirms, but Urs hated this plan from the start. Urs double-checks, is stabbing himself actually safe? Is the demon sure he'll survive? Trainer tells the guy it's no problem. Prepping Urs, he orders a quick, gentle procedure he spent every weekend practicing. Trainer's sixth sense spots blocked magic flows, letting him slip inside effortlessly. Ears asks the demon one more time if it hurt. Trainer warns him the pains like needles under his nails. Urs hated the sound and yelled for him to shut up, but the demon told him to chill. He only had to open one stream today. Urge can't escape. Facing a monster with insane magic, he'll endure the pain to win. Points the needle at his hand and tunes in. Trainer's sixth sense corrected his aim, higher and to the right. He hung on the demon's every word, obeying every command. Bot found, he plunges the needle in. Agony rips through his body, freezing him in total confusion. He screams, and Urs can't identify the strange feeling. Needles pierced every inch of his arm. He felt his friend's agony like being chained and stabbed with red-hot knives. Trainer mocks agony, but the demon warns him, strengthening magic is never easy. His eyes roll back as he blacks out from the pain. Sadist knocks and enters, and the girl asks what all the noise is about. Sari only saw slumped in a chair with his arms twisted back. She moves him to her bed and nurses him with cold cloths. Opens his eyes to find the trainer flying ahead, who notices he's finally awake. Sick and confused, he asks the demon what happened. Trainer explains the pain knocked him out right as the girl found him. Looks over to find Sadie's passed out in a chair from exhaustion. Realizes Sadie's always protected him. Now she's fearing for his life again. Suddenly his eyes dart down, catching a glimpse under her skirt. Baffled, he turns from Sadie's. He's not doing it. He knew he couldn't betray her after she saved him. Doubt hit him instantly. He was only a man. He scanned her causal spots with one eye. He peeks under her skirt, but Sadie's snaps awake and asks if he wants a better look at her panties. Looks up to find her staring him down. Blushes and leaps off the bed, asking if she stayed awake. Sadist calls him pathetic for peeking up her skirt while she cared for him. Suddenly she leans on the bed, closing the gap. She touched his face, telling him it's all fine. She leans in close, flashes him, and promises he can see the rest later. Sadie's is cut short as mom kicks the door open, Lord Hero looming behind her as she checks if is okay. Mom tells the guy she'll use recovery magic. She stops, spots on the bed, and points to the person right beside him. Mom asks what they're doing. He's panicking, but Sadist just flashes a flirty grin. Sadie's rips into leaving him baffled since he wasn't even being serious. Hero grabs demanding the truth about him and Sadie's. Freezes, unable to speak, while his mom begs Sadie's to deny it and find someone better. Sadist tells her she's just teasing him. Trainer looked around and mocked their great company. Among the 7 heroes are Hero Regan and warrior priestess Mama Regan. Trainer saw she and the hero hadn't aged a bit. Pegged her at 30. Mama reads mind and instantly slaps him across the face. Confused, he grabs his face and asks why she hit him. Mama snaps that he was having rude thoughts. Asks why they aren't at work, but Mamu rushed over the second she heard he was out cold. Lord Hero exhaled, if he's feeling well, they've got nothing to worry about. Is already hungry, so a thrilled sadist offers to cook dinner. Mama was thrilled, backing Sadie's plan and calling it a genius move. Mama offers her help and a grateful Sadie's accepts. It's been many years since these two last cooked together. The door slams shut. Silence hangs heavy between and Hero. Father and son have nothing to say. Was dying of pure embarrassment. He couldn't face his parents after this. Crane turns to asking if he has any questions for Hero. He remembered he wanted to ask the hero about his past. Asks his father why he became an Imperial Knight. Hero's caught off guard by the sudden question, but says he's just curious. He said it was time to choose a path. Exhaled, satisfied with his play. Hero weighs the words. Tries to speak, but Hero cuts him off, declaring he'll protect his family and friends. Monsters nearly wiped out his mother and hometown. Fields and stalls were destroyed as families were eaten alive. He was in deep trouble. Without that man, he'd be dead. He crushed a monster horde and walked off in silence, looking like a total badass. Now he's determined to become an arbiter of justice, just like him. He stands up with a smirk, asking if it's too corny, just a reckless childhood dream. Thought he'd finally uncovered his father's past. Behind the door, Sadi Senama watched, moved by the father and son's conversation. Thought it was just a dream, but he realized the truth and saved the world. The guys dig in, laughing and chatting, but her man stays dead silent. Had his own small goal. He tells his dad he's entering the graduation tournament and he's going for the win. Suddenly the table goes dead silent. Mama bolts, asking Hero if he heard his son. Hero reaffirms his drive to win, and Mama vows to back him up. Remembers his father's words, no apologies for losing, just give it everything you've got. On edge, his parents told him not to despair if he loses, and he's completely baffled. Doesn't get why they're counting him out when he's fighting his heart out to win. Right then he swore he'd never stop trying. Sadist eyed the guy, sensing something was wrong. Stood up, apologized, and said he felt sick, thanking the girls for the food. He exits the dining room and hits the hall. Trainer asks if okay. Family dinners aren't exactly a daily routine. Suddenly, begged to train him and make him stronger. Training or acupuncture, he didn't care. Roared his vow to win, proving it with action, not just talk. Trainer hears him and agrees, but they've got the weekend off. Demanded the meaning. Trinar warns him, overtraining backfires and opening magic streams is too heavy a burden. He knows something is coming tomorrow, but Urs has no clue what. Then he remembered the book's release. Trainer's satisfied and spends tomorrow reading. Urs confirms the cover-up, only 50 days until the tournament. Living his worst day, Mamu apologizes to Little Errors for arriving too late. Mamu tells Sadie she can hold him. Era starts crying and she scoops him up. He was thrilled she met this kid. Trainer and Urs hit the bookstore. Trainar's hyped he'd given up on the Fate sequel, but now he's finally reading it while Urs stands by, embarrassed he actually bought it. The book Trainar mentioned yesterday. He's sick of buying sequels released after his death and never expected he'd need a cart to haul them all. Train points to the bench, demanding they read it right now, and Urs agrees. They hit the bench and Urs unpacks the books, leaving the trainer thrilled. Now that they own the house, the demons set to binge read everything, reminding Trainar they already discussed the plan. The Demon King's eyes sparkle at human culture, the race that killed him. Trainer reminds him, culture has no race. Racism is a human flaw. Progress means borrowing the best ideas, and agrees. Trainer tells him to stop scrolling and asks Urs for his thoughts. Urs sarcastically agrees. Urs sits on a bench with Trainar behind him. Trainar stops flipping pages and calls out. The demon mocks his slow reading, demanding speed. Shocked, the guy snaps back, he only started 30 seconds ago. Trainer's read this 5 times already. A shocked Urs asks how he's so fast. Urs suggests a trainer to skim the book for him since he won't read it. Trainer shuts it down, refusing to talk until he reads it himself. Urs is left totally confused. Trainer offers to teach him speed reading instead. The demon says all he needs is sharp eyes. Earth's confused, but the trainer clarifies it's about dynamic visual acuity and peripheral vision. Dynamic visual acuity tracks moving targets, boosting eye muscle strength and speed. This technique is built for speed reading, so Urs tells the demon it's only useful for reading. Learning it seemed pointless, but Trainar wasn't done yet. Dynamic vision tracks fast targets with ease. Basically, he can dodge countless attacks. Urs calls the demon a battle asset. Train backs him up. Trainer said peripheral vision matters, so he eyes the couple ahead first. Urs suddenly tells them to hurry up and die. Trainar's stunned, he never expected this from him. The guy stares down the couple until Trainar tells him he's seen enough and to look away. Demon quizzes him on the bench's color, the crowd ahead, and the plant count behind. Admits he wasn't paying attention, and Trainar figured as much. Peripheral vision sees everything. Focus on one spot and you'll miss the rest. He doesn't just watch the blade. By tracking the whole body, he reads every tell and seizes the lead. Training his eyes this way unlocks the cannon. He looks like a joke, but this proves it works. He realized the stare training actually worked. His reflexes were sharper, his agility spiked, and he finally mastered his body. Trainar's moves are legit. He apologizes for underestimating the demon, but he's still clueless about his next move. Trainer tells him today's goal is finishing the whole book. The guy's stunned. What? That's impossible. Trainer demands a yes, starting with eye training. The guy agrees, and decides to trust him despite his doubts. Years ago at the market, Mamu and Sadist see a woman lose her daughter and frantically try to reach her. Clerk asks if Sadis ran off again. Mamu nods, but where's the brat hiding? Suddenly Mumu spots a girl. She chased her down, screaming for Sadie to come back and obey. Sadist barely remembers her past, only a peaceful city and a happy childhood with her parents. What happened to this city, how, she has no clue. Deep in the Shisanatami underground. The demon reveals the papers, ancient city magic, a forbidden skill that can wipe out continents. Trainer drops the sheets, calling them overzealous. He has no clue how lethal this spell really is. He tells the Demon King to shut up, this is their final hope. Suddenly, a masked man grabs his hair, refusing to hand it over. He sold it to the Empire to use as a weapon of mass destruction against their army. Secret meeting tapes exist, but Trainar says he doesn't need them. He'd usually feed the army, but this spell is too powerful. He begs for mercy, but he still has to destroy the magic. Trainar unleashes the Great Dynamic Spiral, shattering destruction itself. Data stands there trembling, mop in hand. Years later, one distraction drags her back to that day, and it still haunts her. Suddenly, dark thoughts flooded her mind. She needed speed, so she flung the door open and burst in. They enters a room filled with portraits of tiny ears. He's so cute he'd melt the coldest heart, and now Sadis is the Regan family's maid. Demon King's army crushed her home, but Mamu saved her from certain death. Destined for an orphanage, Mamu claimed Sadie's instead, raising her like a sister and vowing to protect her. Sadie loved Mamu like her own sister. He was pretty salty about marrying Hiro. He adopted her and they were finally happy. Mahmoud hands Sadie's a child and lets her hold him. She looked at him and realized he was a sweet brother, blood or not. Her family's gone, but her new life is perfect, and she never wants it to end. She opens the box and memories flood back. She grabs the ribbon, instantly remembering her graduation bouquet. Terrified, Urs asks if she's leaving them after graduation. Eris's sweet, sad face touches Saudie's. She knows it's wrong, but she'll keep teasing him just to see that sweet smile. Memories flood back, and her face turns dead serious. She shut the memory box. This wasn't good. Sadist knew Princess Fiona loved the young master. Everyone knows the plan. The 7 heroes' children are set to marry. Mamu's married, and now they're being discarded just like everyone else. Sadist knew Urs defied the norms, but she still craved one sweet look. She could never tell him. The gate swings open, and tells Saudis he's finally home. Happy he's back, she points out his massive haul, and Urs agrees. She spots his eyes twitching. Sadist is baffled. Something must have happened while they were shopping. Saudie's skirt flies up, exposing her legs. He knew Urs saw things he shouldn't. A gentleman looking that depraved is unacceptable. He rushes the girl and leaps into the air. He snatches the flying scarf, leaving the girl stunned. He hands it to Saudis, who thanks him. Urs tells her to read until dinner and call him when she's ready. Saudie's shocked. Instead of peeking, he grabs her scarf like a total gentleman. He hadn't even noticed her mind shifting this much. Urs's insane visual acuity saved him, and he tells Trainer it's a total game changer. Trainer says he's not here to creep, but the demon is stunned. He mastered the skill so fast. He's way more capable than anyone expected. He mastered the demonic evolution breakthrough instantly. His win rate just skyrocketed, and he's got 49 days until the tournament. Night falls. Heads out for another workout. He stared at his hand, magic surging from his palm. Trainer tells him he's finally mastered stable magic control. Says finding magic streams was worth all the agony. He mastered magic materialization fast. Trainer asks Urs's take on perfect technique. Shuts his eyes and tells the demon it's delicious. Everything feels natural, but his heightened awareness is a total shock. Turns to Trainer. It's time for their final lesson. and Trainer rocket toward each other. They clash in phantom sparring, fighting an intangible ghost. Even his strikes feel like nothing. Dueling Trainer's elite visual magic sharpened his own sight, making every enemy strike easy to predict. Realized that 2 months ago, he'd have been pulverized. He realized he wasn't afraid to look death in the eyes. Spotted the hole in his defense. Trainer's fist rocketed straight for his face. Suddenly, the demon's breath hits him. He's sent flying, hitting the dirt in shock that he was even touched. He'll watch them kill him all over again. Calls it pointless from the ground, but Trainer admits the surprise attack was impressive, just not enough to win. Roars for a rematch. Trainer laughs, loving the fire. Returns home, hits the bed, and asks why he wants to destroy humanity. Trainer pouts about being back. The demon asks why he cares, and admits he thinks about it constantly. Ears asks if it's time to tell him. Trainer says no one would understand. That was millennia ago. He's forgotten why he ever thought that way. Deep in sunless caves, a chaotic world of musty air and raw power, Trainer's homeland. He dreamed of escaping this demon realm to see the world beyond. He craved vast oceans, wild forests, and new tech. He had to see it all firsthand. His dream wouldn't come true in a simple snap. Racism flared and ideas warped. Millennia passed, his purpose shifted, and he was no longer the same man. Before he knew it, he'd become the scariest demon king. Birds watch the shocked demon. Trainer calls it quits, picturing the demon world's fate after the incident. Asks if humans are cruel to demons too. Trina says it's the norm. War was a bloodbath. Everyone committed atrocities, including him. He'd heard the stories, but Trainer felt the demon king's cruelty firsthand. Trainer decides he's visiting the demon world one day. Trainer's stunned, but reminds him he's been training him this whole time, so it's time to pay up. He wanted international backup to pressure the guy and confirm he was 100% sure. He tells the demon Imperial Knights like his hero father live quiet lives. Trainer says Imperial Knights don't have time for this, he'll be fine. Realized he must follow his father's path. He says Trainer wants to explore this world, sounds fun. He's in, he refuses to rot in this country forever. He wants the strength to go anywhere, but he's only got 1 day left. Wait, the prompt says 1 line in equals 1 line out. Tournament day is finally here. Crowds are already swarming the arena podium. Sat nervously wrapping his hands. Trainer's shocked by the massive crowd for a kid's fight, but reveals the 7 heroes' children are competing this year. Elites and noble watchers flood the games every year. Trainer calls it the perfect setup. Suddenly, the man demands everyone's attention. He kicks off the Imperial Academy graduation tournament and thanks the crowd for coming. Today's fighters hit the arena: Fu, Rival, Fiona, and Fans packed the podium, roaring for their favorites. Saudi screamed, cheering on. He announces it's a tournament-style bracket. Opponents are decided by lot, step up and draw. First man announces the rival's entrance. Worried fans instantly erupted into a roar. Fans roar for his majestic stance. He's the top student, rumored to have the power of an imperial knight. The crowd roared for his rival, but was fuming. The draw hadn't even started yet. Rival steps up and pulls a ball, securing the first move. The announcer shouts that Riva Janet is in round 1, and the crowd explodes. They can't believe a rival is appearing this early. Regan is called to draw lots, but the podium suddenly goes silent, leaving only frantic whispers. Word spreads he's Hero Regan's son, the unsuccessful heir. Someone calls him a dark horse, but they joke he'll end up in the sea. Trainer confronts errors, he's definitely up to something sinister. Looks confused, but the demon brushes it off, he's actually intrigued. Hesitantly nears the man and snatches the box of balls. He hurls him upwards, stunning the entire arena. He activates his cannon vision, instantly tracking every number. Snatches a ball and claims number 1, matching his rivals as the arena goes dead silent. The crowd erupts. What the hell is he doing? Doesn't he know his place? Lord Hero grabs his face, calling him a total idiot. He's trashing the historic tournament. Everyone is stunned and his rival is losing it. Asks if he knows why he did it. He understands, but rival is livid. Rival saw the number and chose it himself. Rival shouted his approval. Declared war and his rival accepted instantly. But nobody realized this was actually Urz's challenge. What's her real goal? Rahel almost let the hero's kids brawl, but a man stepped in, shut it down, and ordered everyone to stand down. Suddenly, a shout for silence booms across the rostrum. One of Rathar's soldiers, Trainer, recognized that face instantly. Magic Spearman Salja is one of the 7 heroes. The Emperor claims Regan broke the rules. He turned and challenged his rival. Bowing to the Emperor, he vows to win the tournament against any opponent. Saul skips the draw, hoping he's finally equal. Mamu screams for Lai to stop. Hero backs her up, and their son is a total moron. Told his parents he was fine, arguing it wasn't rude to reject a kid's challenge. Emperor Sol stands, morale surging, and gives the go-ahead. This isn't a graduation match, it's a duel between warriors. Salja pits Janet against Regan for round 1, making the duel official. Recalled the crowd calling him the hero's son, and he absolutely hated it. No matter how hard he tried, his hero father got all the credit, making his own hard work feel worthless. He knew the world only saw the hero's son, not Regan. He hated to disappoint, but he couldn't live up to the name. He's facing his rival in the tournament. His parents panicked, clueless about what was happening to their son. He announces the Imperial Academy graduation tournament. Round 1 starts now. He claims he's the son of a 7-sword hero and the Imperial Academy's top swordsman. The tournament's dark horse, Hero Regan's son. The draw was messy, but it's on. The 7 heroes 2nd generation are facing off. Trainer turns to Earth and asks if he wants to use it. Refuses, wanting to test his strength first. Recalling his ladder drills, phantom sparring with Trainer, and cutie training, he's testing how far the basics can take him. Train laughs, claiming that was exactly his plan. Turns to Saudis, finding her sitting there completely crushed. Thinking of her, he repeats his promise, just watch because he's winning this tournament. Sadis leaps up shouting, but Urza demands to know why he's unarmed. He's confused at first, but then I remember, he was originally a swordsman. Fiona asks how he managed to forget his weapon. The crowd mocks the kid, he's so nervous he forgot his weapon. What a simpleton, and he's Hero Regan's son. Everyone's questioning the 7 heroes' legacy. He's a hero's son, yet he won't even pick up a sword. Hero screams at to grab his weapon from the waiting room, but just pouts at the noise. He asks what to bring, but the guy says no. Roared his fist is his sword. Regan ditches the weapons and signals the start of round 1. Rahul realized he'd underestimated him. First the draw, now he's fighting unarmed. This isn't a game. Rive snaps, screaming he's had enough. He instantly lunged at the swordsman. The crowd cheers for the rival, but Fiona screams for him to watch his opponent. Her eyes widen, the rival blurs past, leaving him completely clueless. Rival's shocked, he dodged, roaring, then how about this? Rival unleashes the Imperial Sword and a storm of blooming blades. He's moving too fast to track, the guards are stunned, even Imperial Knights can't match this skill. The second knight can't see the blade, and the guard realizes Ravaya isn't even touching the ground. He thought his trained eyes were actually keeping up. Max your vision to predict moves just by tracking eye muscle shifts. Ladder trained reflexes kick in, letting him instantly read and counter the enemy's next move. The training with Trainer paid off. That wasn't his father's magic sword, it was Regan's style. unleashes the great demon's corkscrew strike. Smashes rival's face, stunning the arena with his raw power. The crowd stunned, crushing every technique with nothing but his fists. Rival eyes while mentally asks Mahamu, Hiro, and Sada's how they did it. Someone yells it's a massive strike, exactly what you'd expect from a second-gen hero. Rumors called Hiro Regan's son a loser, but he's actually got skills. It's in his blood, but he hates the word talent, don't devalue his brutal. Rumor says he trained with his dad. If true, that's insane, but how will he crush his rival? Why think he's training with his dad? Hiro's got nothing to do with this, his father just abandoned him. Crowds cheer for the hero's kids, but trainer says ignore them, he can still drop the Regan label. Knows. No time to think, Riel wipes blood from his face. Tanks the strike, rival demands to know the source of his power. He's ditched magic for physical skills he's never seen before. This ex-swordsman just hit a massive power spike. His rival suspects the hero, but EBC, Arab, and Ravaku are all Mamu's doing. Scoffs, claiming if that were true, they wouldn't look like that now. Rival looked confused, secret, leg days, sparring, and books. Ruwal fumes, snapping it can't be everything, and Eris agrees, there's definitely more. His mentor's kindness saved him, shifting his entire perspective. Entering the academy, he hit a wall. Among the 7 heroes' kids, he's the only failure, a truth he's heard since birth. He lacked his rival's sword skills, Fu's magic, and Fiona's art. The only one without a talent, and failing everyone's expectations is his curse. He told the guy he lacked his father's magic sword talent and should stick to his own strengths instead. Those words hit home. He's done copying heroes, it's time to forge his own path. He's still mastering the move, unsure if it's right for him. With zero help from his parents, he's carving his own path alone. That stunned his rival. Suddenly he was losing his patience. He snapped, telling the guy to stop joking. Ruwal tells to reject the 7 heroes' power. The second generation's job is to pass the legacy down, not claim it. Rival remembered, always leading the way. Didn't get the rage. He respected the guy's hero pride, but his mind was set. He was there to prove himself. He bowed, explaining his tone, but the rival snapped, pointing a sword at He kept apologizing. Drain turns to admitting he's hooked. Rival shredded the guy with brutal sword strikes. Everyone's terrified for him. Trainer knows humans only use 30% of their potential, but a crisis unlocks the full 100%. They call this the zone, and some can enter it at will. Even with his eyesight, could barely track him. Struggled to block the onslaught, knowing victory was impossible in his current state. Trainer and decided it was time for a change. He had to coat his body in the mana surging from those painfully opened channels. Everyone stunned. This is the Demon King's ultimate physical technique. Trainer says green is the earth attribute, full of life and prosperity, the magic he deserved. Great demon breakthrough. Trainer asks who he really is. Reveals he's the son of a hero. Trainer demands his identity, and reveals he's now the Demon King's disciple. Trainer asks who he wants to be. Vows to become his true self. Train shouts he's right, now let prove it. Realized Trainer finally called him by his first name. Finally recognized as Regan instead of just a hero's son, he's determined to repay every favor. He'll let his fists do the thanking. Gratitude beats buying books, and Trainer confirmed he was telling the truth. Trainer unleashes the great demon's shimmering strike, blasting Rival straight into a wall. Rival slumps against the wall, paralyzed. The arena falls silent, the crowd stunned, speechless. Who asked Fiona what he won this round? The announcer screams at the shocker, Janet Espin defeated. Just as the winner is named, his rival grips his weapon and shouts, Imperial Sword. Revel used his last bit of strength to charge The podium froze in shock, no one saw this coming, they screamed his name in panic. Eris turned slowly, spotting his rival charging straight for him. Earlier at practice, asks his trainer if he can master the technique. Trainer pressed for more details on that specific move, the Devil's Breakthrough Great Demonic Spiral. Trainer warns him, this move drains massive mana and is a nightmare to control. Or just ask him, is that true? Trainer warns him, with those skills it'll take 6 months of brutal training. Shocked by the lack of time, he instantly pivots and tells Trainer he'll master it right now. Facing Rival in the arena, he unleashes the Urza Breakthrough Spin Spiral. Everyone froze in shock, unable to process what they were seeing. Trainer's shocked used that move without prep. He screams, but can't hear him anymore. He held his breath, waiting for the fallout. Was dead set on winning the tournament. Suddenly, gets clocked in the face. His magic started fading. Rival's punch sends him tumbling across the arena. He forced himself up to face his rival, but he wasn't alone. Hero stared him down, dead serious. Whispers erupt, it's Hero and Mama Reagan of the 7 heroes. Why'd they crash the arena and stop the fight? Urskut bolts up, furiously demanding why his father is there. Lord Hero announces Urzurjan is disqualified. The tournament continues. Furious, Urs grilled his father, demanding to know what he meant and why he was suddenly disqualified. Suddenly, a deafening scream echoes through the entire arena. Everyone spots the girl shaking and screaming as she drops her basket in shock. Sadist demands to know why Urza is using the Demon King's technique mid-arena. Trainer questioned if she truly survived Chisinatami. The arena's baffled. Why is Sadie's mentioning the Demon King's technique? Mamo rushes to calm Sadie, asking why she's terrified, but the girl only repeats, it's the Demon King. Urs never seen Sadie this terrified. Hero reveals this tornado is the same move the Demon King used to destroy Sati's hometown. He was stunned. He knew Sadie was a war orphan. Unaware the technique caused it all, Hero grabbed Urza and bolted from the arena. Hero demands to know how he learned that move and what he's been up to. They were both stoked to see each other. Suddenly, Ur's father punches him right in the face. Hero asks his son what he's planning. Imperial Knights don't fight dirty. Hero asks if he'll use any trick to win the tournament. Ur suspected a trick, but Hero pressed the guy. Could he hear his father? A move no knight would touch. The crowd is stunned. The hero's son just unleashed the Demon King's power. Pure horror. He's using the enemy's moves. The hero's kids have no dignity, and the crowd is stunned by his sudden power spike. His moves were insane, but the crowd called him a pathetic cheater. Eris heard the trash talk and didn't get it because they're dead wrong. The crowd brands him a lifelong loser who's useless without the Demon King's power, even pitying the wall he hit as they demand Ursby drag him out. He still knew they were dead wrong. Suddenly, a train appears before Earth. The demon orders him to tell Lord Hero he exists and that he forced this move. Hero believes what only he knows, but Eris has no clue what Trinar means. The demon blames himself for sharing secrets about humanity's enemy, but the guy tells Trinar to stop, insisting he only grew this strong because of him. Sadie's still dazed, but Mamo calms her down. Asks the demon if humans struggle to kill him. Trainer yells it's not too late for mercy, but scoffs, only his words have ever saved him. Insisted it wasn't Trainar's fault. Smiling, he asks the demon what's wrong with being his disciple. He explains the technique, leaving the demon stunned. Refused to let them steal the techniques and experience he'd spent 2 months building. Snaps, drawing every eye on the arena podium. He screams for silence, declaring he endured hellish training to finally master his style. His mentor's technique rallied him and fueled his strength. This was his peak, and he didn't need their judgment. Hero scrambled to silence Error's nonsense. His son punches him square in the face. The crowd gasps. No one can believe he'd strike a hero. Everyone screamed he hit Mr. Hero. Arid mocks his dad, vowing he'll never call him father again. He recalls his childhood trauma, revealing how constant comparisons forced him to succeed where others failed. Hero ignored his progress, even as everyone branded him a second-gen loser. Heartbroken, Ertz disowns his father, wishing he was never born. A voice from the podium yells for the guards to seize him and drag him out. A disgraced traitor to the warriors, but then hears Fiona and Fu calling out to him. He asks if they're here to lecture him for betraying his father and nation, but he doesn't care. He's done. He unleashes the dynamic spiral to blast through Urza. Fiona and Fu shut down to evade the strike. Smoke clears, revealing a massive hole. They think escaped, but tunneling out is impossible. Fiona lunges, but Fu restrains her as she screams for Errors to stop being reckless. Suddenly, he's hurtling straight down from the sky. He envisioned a team of hero kids playing together, destined to surpass their parents and become the ultimate superheroes. Years later, he remembers Mamu apologizing and promising they'd finally take tomorrow off. He remembered asking Cities at graduation if she'd leave them behind. Sadie smiles sweetly, vowing to never leave the young master. Sadie's terrified. Why is the young master wielding Demon King magic? Urs blasts through the earth and eyes the moon. Time's up. The worst day of his life starts now. He hits the dirt, sobbing and screaming that he's cursed. Raynar watched nearby, certain the guy couldn't even stand. No surprise, breakthroughs cap at 90 seconds, and he's already used the spiral twice. Eris tells Trainar that at today's tournament, he secretly wanted to be compared to his father. He's sick of being a hero's son. He ditched his dad's style for his own, desperate to kill that label. He's ditching the hero's son title to prove Urs Regan is a legend on his own. He never guessed they saw him as a hero's son all along. He knew the world demanded a perfect hero, but they ignored his growth. It was heartbreaking. Crane listens and reluctantly releases his head. He told the guy there's only one way to grant his wish. Trainer tells him he must surpass the hero's legacy to pull this off. The demon asks why the hero is so famous, all because he beat the world's ruler. The demon tells Earth's achieve more and the world will know Erzregan's power, like it or not. Earth still didn't know how to surpass his father. Train them hard, but even he's clueless. The demon offers two paths to success: unify the nation or invent something great. One thing's certain, the answer lies far beyond this empire. The demon tells him to target the world beyond the empire and make his name known, while asks Trainer how this helps him surpass his father. He remembered Fu's the world's top mage, rivals a master swordsman, and Fiona's the ultimate spearman. Is the ultimate hero, outclassing even his father. Back to basics, he stands up and vows they'll outshine his father's legacy. This time he'll force them to notice. Is told to take Trainer to the ends of the earth. Edgard asks for Regan, but the knights already cleared 5th Street, nothing. Still nothing on the second one, he cursed, wondering where the kid vanished. Grandpa apologizes to the knights, asking why they're tearing the city apart. He asks the old man if he's heard about today's tournament, the biggest disaster since the war ended. Mamu tears through the house, scouring every room for hers. He's in none of them. He hoped he'd be home waiting for them. Demon remnants still roam, but the knights are hunting the king. With no word on Urza, the hero heads outside the capital. If another squad finds first, he's gone. Mamu checks the closet, praying he's there. Mahmoud remembers Urza's tournament outburst, disowning his father and wishing he'd never been born. Mamu had no clue what just happened. His style shifts, unleashing Demon King moves. Mamu realizes he's bitter over her and the hero. She realized she'd never actually looked around Urza's room. Mamu grabs the nostalgic Academy textbook. It's shabbier than hers, packed with bookmarks and totally different from the version she used. Mamu's massive bookcase was packed with technical manuals and reference books. Even her and the hero's generation never pushed this far. He fought for respect but faced nonstop hate. She finally understood he was being crushed by the weight of everyone's expectations. She knew the rumors but ignored his grind, even though he outworked the 7 heroes. She'd never seen or understood it. Shocked she let this happen, she's got no clue what to do next. Mamu dropped to her knees, sobbing an apology. Mamu calls herself a failure. She wasn't there when he needed her most, failing her duty to protect him. Now she realizes she knows nothing about her own son. She was clueless about his situation and the Demon King's techniques. Sadie screams. Mamu rushes over, demanding to know why she's there. Did she escape the hospital? Mamu warns Sadie to stop. She needed rest, but sides turned to Mam, demanding the young master's location. Mamu admits he fled, and now she and Hero are hunting him down. Zeta heard the nurses. Imperial Knights are hunting and if he's linked to the Demon King, he's finished. Hearing this, she couldn't stay put and rushed to the city to find him. The girls hug as Mamu reassures Sadist he and Hero won't let anything happen. The city claims Urza cheated his way in using forbidden arts, but they're dead wrong. We watch the young master's non-stop training. His opening moves prove it. That's pure young master skill. He scrambled to prove he wasn't cheating, showing the young master's true strength. Sadist claimed she was closest to him and told Mom to bring him home. Momo spirals, convinced she's a total failure as a mother. He chose Sada's and she gets why. Momo turns to Sadie's and asks for help. She needed the truth about her child. Too late or a bad mother, she has to see him again. The girls pray for Urza's return, while Mamu begs her son for a second chance. Ern and Trainer stroll along as the guy asks the demon how long they've been traveling. Trainer figures they've been walking for 3 hours. He clutches his face, cursing that they're taking too long. Eris panics, shouting that they're trapped in the forest. Where's the city? Trainer warns him it won't be easy to find. Trainer suggests camping, but is totally confused. He thought his dad was rich and powerful. He misses the crib and dishes, but Trainer shoots the guy a sharp glare. Remembering his goal, he shouts he'll surpass his father. They're setting up camp. Asks the Trainer if he knows how to set up camp, and the demon says of course. He knows every trick to stay alive. He'd ditch politics to camp alone, but a baffled asked why, suspecting the demon just had 0 friends. Feeling the strain, he told the guy to forget the whole conversation. Suddenly his stomach rumbles. He tells the demon they need food first. Walking through the forest, they spot a massive rabbit. Lunged at him, shouting they finally found the meat. The rabbit dodges at the last second, escaping his grasp as he slams into the dirt. Furious, he snaps at the rabbit. He wouldn't quit, screaming at the rabbit to stop. He gave chase, but it was useless. Collapses, unable to match the rabbit's insane speed, but the Trainer isn't surprised. Small prey needs small guns. Rough terrain kills his speed. He's only used to flat ground, leaving him at a massive disadvantage. Looked up at the rabbit. The rabbit leans in with a smile, and snaps. Trainer saw was completely spent. He promises he's got his back. Approaches, then immediately bolts. He lunges, but the rabbit slips away, sending crashing down again. Earth was completely out of ideas. He sharpened his reflexes and peripheral vision. He instantly scans the area for the best path, and the expert trainer steps in to help. Trainer guides his path like a ray of light. Trainer orders him to hide in the bushes for 2 hours. The demon's intel is their only way to catch the rabbit. Trainer figured a magic stairs addict would find this easy. His brutal training was finally about to pay off. Hunting the rabbit again. Trainer mapped the path and he finally snatched the rabbit. His non-stop training paid off. Hits the ground, rabbit still in hand. He can't believe he actually did it. He hoists the prize high and screams in victory. He danced for joy with the rabbit as Trainer watched, knowing he'd finally done it. Trainer gives the word, "Start cutting." Hence he demands the demon explain. Trainer stays stone-faced, asking if it's not obvious. The demon's plan, kill him fast, then bleed him dry. Panicking, the guy begs the demon to wait and asks Trainer for a plan. "Why me?" he cries, but Trainer snarks, "Who else is here?" Trainer begged him not to refuse, all because he pitied the rabbit. Stunned, he refuses to talk. Suddenly 2 more rabbits appear and he spots them. Asks Trainer why they're staring. Seeing the rabbit's tears, he realizes they're family. Parrots pity the rabbit, refusing to kill the cub in front of its parents. Tells the rabbits to stop pitying him, snapping that he's just trying to survive. His soul was torn apart, leaving him lost and struggling to cope. Overcome with emotion, he screams, "Shooting star." Releases the rabbit and it vanishes into the brush to rejoin its family. Trainer was absolutely livid. Grills him, why let their only food escape? He's totally baffled and at a loss for words. Trainer screams at him to face reality, eat or die. His noble pride is a death sentence, and shamed, finally obeys the demon. Trainer kept screaming, insisting he still didn't realize what he'd done. Sharp noise rings out, they whip around but see nothing. Investigated the noise, something was definitely wrong. Deafening roar closes in fast. Trainer and freeze, tracking every rustle around them. Suddenly, a massive paw stomps right toward them. A massive beast looms ahead, dwarfing Trainer and They couldn't even identify the massive beast standing before them. They stared at the massive ogre, paralyzed by horror. Ogres are brutal demon warriors with insane strength. Ferocious and cruel, they've slaughtered countless victims. Ogres overran towns and villages. Aaron remembered the childhood warning, misbehave and an ogre eats you. Trainer tensed up, telling him business was failing. That ogre is a world-class demon. Challenging him is suicide. Panics, realizing he's too weak for magic and has no clue what to do. The ogre whips around, asking if he's lost. Screams in terror, warning the ogre to stay back. If it gets any closer, he will. The ogre saw the guy panicking, stopped and refused to fight. The guy and demon were stunned. They never expected those words from the ogre. Panicked as sudden dread set in, but the ogre screamed a promise. He wouldn't hurt him, so there was nothing to fear. Asks Trainer if the ogre is baiting him, but the demon shuts it down. Ogres are way too dumb for mind games. The ogre asks if he's just hungry and invites him home for a feast. Terrified again, he asks the ogre, "What? They just met, why trust him so fast?" Hours remembered the kidnappings and cannibalism. The books were spot on. Trainer tells the guy to chill. He won't kill him. The demon thinks he cares, but if he refuses now, he starves. He won't recover by tomorrow. Protests, but Trainer ignores him. Kid's terror annoyed the ogre, who realized exactly why humans fear his kind. He apologized to for the oversight, and the monster offered to lead him to the city. Saw this as pure racial discrimination. Using the Demon King technique, he realized he's just like them. Turns and apologizes to the monster. He called him kind, but facing his first ogre has him shaken. Pure prejudice, he tries talking to the ogre but draws a blank. Suddenly, stomach rumbles again, and everyone hears it. The ogre laughed, claiming his stomach was still empty. The monster says it's fine, inviting him to follow with his fresh kill. Thanks him for the concern. They push deep into the forest. The ogre asks his name. The kid replies Erds. He shared his surname to spark recognition, and the ogre called kind. Shocked, the guy asks what he said. The ogre repeats he's kind. Everyone feared the ogre Akka, but believed in him. Screams at the monster, admitting he's no better than anyone else. The ogre apologizes, accepts the help, and is thrilled. Eric's shocked by the massive ogre's calm. Is he being too kind? The monster announced they'd arrived. This was his home. The monster apologized for the mess, but didn't mind. He spots garden beds and asks the ogre about them. The beast confirms he grows his own vegetables right there in the forest. The ogre opens the curtain. Asks if he lives alone. The ogre confirms he's alone. It's safe to enter. He scans the room, spotting a small bonfire inside the ogre's house. The monster tells him to sit while he preps dinner. Notices the furniture and tools are the wrong size. This house is nothing like the Empire. Trainer says these houses are going up in the east. He's a bit rough and clearly built this house himself. Stunned, he tells Trainer the monster hunts, farms, and even built his own house. Trainer admits he's no Urza, exhausted from catching one rabbit. Unlike the ogre, the man just laughs at the demon's words. Suddenly, catches a delicious scent wafting from the kitchen. The ogre exits the kitchen and tells the guy everything's ready. The monster served up a stunning feast. Spots them and is stunned. He asks the ogre if he bought it all, but the beast denies it. He serves fresh beast meat, garden greens, and Demon World cereal, better known as rice. The ogre's curious but hasn't tried it yet. He hands the guy a fork, catching him off guard. The ogre wishes her a good meal, and the guy digs in. One bite and the flavor is insane. Juicy gravy and crispy meat hit his stomach with pure satisfaction. One taste of demon rice and he's hooked. It's juicier and richer than any normal grain. Next, he highlights the fresh, juicy salad. He knew Sadist would snap if he didn't play nice. He tried it anyway, forking the salad and scarfing it down. Loved the exquisite taste. Fresh meat and greens, he's devouring it all. Seeing the guy devour his food, the ogre gets spooked. The monster turns to Urza, asking why he's crying. Had no clue what he meant. Enraged, the ogre demands to know what he cooked, slamming the tasteless meal. He's dazed, mouth too full to even answer. He flashes 2 fingers and keeps chewing. After devouring the meal, he apologizes to the monster for the amazing taste and pulls a weird face. He's sobbing after fleeing home. He can't explain what happened. He's never going home. He'd figure it out solo, but he can't even find today's meal. He starts shaking, claiming the ogre's food tastes just like home. It pissed him off. Can't go back. He made his choice. Now he only moves forward. Suddenly, Aka flashes 2 fingers back. Smiling sweetly, he tells the young man to thank him too. He's an ogre who hates fighting. AKA warned their looks terrify people, so he hid in the woods to avoid scaring anyone. He survived in this forest for over 10 years. Believed he isn't scared, AKA thanks him for loving the food. The ogre calls a great guy, but thinks that means AKA, a label that keeps him isolated and trapped in the woods. AKA turns to and asks about the people. The ogre hoped getting closer to people would help him find friends. Demands to know what Aka is talking about. He smiles sweetly, asking the ogre if they're already friends. This hits Ka hard. Stunned, the guy listens as Aka insists again that was truly kind. Growing up, the Empire despised him, and fake friends only used him for his father Lord Hero's fame. Birds never thought he'd find true equals. Touched by the ogre's reaction, he tells Aka to stop crying. Finally realized he was glad he'd ditched the Empire. Trainer was stunned. The hero's son actually calls a demon his friend. Suddenly, Trainer gaze crashes into covered objects. Morning rolls around. AKA points him toward the river, follow it to the mountains to reach the city. Thanks Aka for the spotless clothes, but the ogre shrugs. It was easy. The ogre asks if he's sure about staying. The guy confirms there's no going back anyway. Asks the ogre for a city request, but he's only focused on escaping the Empire. Thanks AKA for everything he's done. They just became friends. Won't he be lonely? He'll definitely return one day. The ogre's touched, calling a kind man, but already knew. Asks the ogre what he needs, offering to bring tools or furniture. AKA says he wants the cakes, catching the guy off guard. AKA wants a taste of those legendary human cakes, and is glad he finally gets it. A stops him and asks him to stay. 16 words. Let's try one more for maximum punch. Walks away from the og. He handed him the pendant, gifting it to him. Shocked, demanded to know what the monster was. AKA says it's his hometown mascot, handmade and a bit sloppy. Asks if the ogre made it himself. AKA confirms wood carving is his hobby. AKA wants a safe journey, trusting the talisman to ward off any threats to her. He smiles at the monster, thanks him for the gift, and tells AKA he'll treasure it. Aka turns and flashes 2 fingers again. Would never forget the ogre Aka's happy tears. He flashes 2 fingers back. He said goodbye to the monster and took off. His quick steps echo through the forest. He charged forward at full power. Trainer asks about the free training, and says it's something like that. Recalling yesterday's journey, he's set on building it his way. Trainer warns him not to lose focus and stray, but says he already knows. Needs souvenirs and tools, but Trainer asks the real question, does he even have the cash? He froze, realizing his wallet was empty. and Trainer finally arrive at the guild. The receptionist asks about the guard job again, but is forced to reject him. He claimed he wasn't a graduate and had no ID. First tries his luck begging for any guild job, but the registrar shuts him down. The registrar needs an ID or academy diploma to hire him. The guild must report every hunter to the empire. Every guild follows the rules now. Only illegal shops and anarchists remain, and he's furious. Document or not, he knew he was Regan. By now, his father lord has definitely found him. Someone sneaks up behind and asks if he's finished. The man behind him orders to keep moving. If he's done, let him go. Mortified, Eris blurted an apology and bolted. Mama from Nukanens hits the counter, reporting his latest forest discovery to the receptionist. Walked out of the guild heart heavy. He asks Trainer for his next move, certain he'll find work, but Trainer reminds him he lacks an ID. The demon mocks humans for overcomplicating life, arguing status is irrelevant if you can work. Ears ignores him, insisting they leave the empire now, it's the only way to make money. Suddenly screams erupt nearby. Crowd screams in disbelief, 20 straight wins, who is this girl? Urstub hears the commotion, and the demon suggests they check it out. He pushes past the crowd and spots two people mid-game. Birds instantly knew this was a Go battle game. Battle of Go, use black and white stones to seize enemy territory. Train remembers the ogre had it too. Asks the demon to confirm, but he doesn't even notice her. He asks if he knows the game, and the demon confirms he knows her. This game is over 1,000 years old, and even demons are obsessed with her. Back then, his attacks were known as the Demon King's move. Asks what the Demon King becomes if he makes a move, and Trainer confirms he's right. The man asks if anyone else dares to play. He challenged the crowd to take down Japania's Shinobu Stoke. He watched her dominate Go with an insane win streak. Who is she? Age and likely from Japania, she's nothing like the people from the Empire. Trainer warns him these aren't ordinary Japania locals, they're warriors. Asks the demon about the Japanese warriors, the samurai. Trainer disagrees, they're likely not samurai. He asks the crowd again, does no one want to play with her? The winner takes home 100,000 Sabura. Saw his chance to win the cash. Shinobu tells Koga he'll quiet down, they've already earned enough. She knew their level, she was killing time, but the game had zero spark. Realized losing meant paying the exact same amount. Shinobu claims she's also gorgeous, fit, and a total knockout. Crowd stunned, Shinobu mocks their blank stares, sighing that being this beautiful is a total drag. Annoyed, thinks she's just modest, but he's completely misread her true nature. Crowd's confused, but she's a Go master with power to back it up. Shinobu tells the guys to close shop and find their brother. Thinks she's untouchable, but is she really that strong? Trainer mentions a cash prize and tells to play along, but she gives the demon a skeptical look. He asks to wait for the demon, admitting he's never played Go battle. Trainer tells him he's off the hook, leaving the guy stunned and confused. Doubted he could actually help. Stops Shinobu and Koga volunteering to play with the girl. The crowd gasps in shock. Whispers spread he was young, but this move took serious guts. Everyone wishes him luck as sits before the girl. Shinobu asks if they're the same age, and reveals he's 15. Nabu realizes they're the same age. He looks like an imperial, but surprisingly weak. He wondered if they'd say that right to his face. Shinobu didn't care, she told him to just enjoy the game. Koga shouts to start the game. Shinobu lets him strike first. Mocks her, nervously clutching his stones. Trainer orders him to the upper right corner, the star attack. He followed the demon's advice perfectly. Shinobu analyzed the move, calling out his ancient game tactics. Trainer admits he's using tactics from 15 years ago. He grabs the stone and picks her path. Her eyes snap wide in horror. He starts twitching and he's clueless, what's wrong with her? Shinobu screams in denial, it's just a surprise attack by a small army. Trainer chuckles, asking if she wants to smash these stones. She realized she had to clear them out or he'd reach the main camp. Her defense was about to shatter, and the trainer couldn't wait to see her next move. Turns a train and demands an explanation to finally understand the game. Shinobu sighs, realizing she has to do it herself. The girl screamed challenge accepted. Trainer's hyped, yelling that he knew it. Everything's going her way. Trainer screams for her to bow before his winning move. Shinobu refused to believe it. She wasn't ready to lose her impenetrable fortress. Shinobu grit her teeth with everything she had. She hangs her head and gives up. The crowd erupted, unable to believe their eyes. Fumed over his accidental win, while a shocked Koga couldn't believe Shinobu actually lost. Turns to Koga, asking where his prize is. He kept her promise, the prize was his. Koga hands her a bag of cash. Suddenly Shinobu grabs the guy's shoulder. Wide-eyed, she asks to play again. Struggles to break free, shouting this wasn't the deal and he doesn't need the cash. Shinobu snaps she's never lost to a 1-year-old in battle, grades, or beauty. He realized he was playing trainer, not her. Shinobu tells she has nowhere left to go, her long-buried rage finally exploding. Treat training like a game and ask for advice. Demons can play forever, but warns him it's just a massive hassle. Says his plans won't work, leaving an upset Shinobu to claim she understands everything. She joins him, and a furious demands an explanation. Koga mentions their plans, but Shinobu shuts him down. With crazy eyes, she begs to join him again, asking why he'd pass up a nice girl like her. Something pops from the girl's sweater, landing right in front of the guy's. Realized it instantly, the girl's chest had flown away. Confused, Shinobu immediately starts fumbling through her sweater. She turns with a sweet smile and tells him to forget everything he saw. The girl bolted, instantly fleeing the guy. Koga and his assistant yelled for the girl to stop, but she ignored them and they gave chase. Hits the candy shop, windows packed with stunning cakes. He tells the seller he never knew so many types of cake existed. He asks Trinar what the ogre likes, but Trinar has no clue. The demon suggests a cream cake gift or a cheap cupcake. Weighs the options. He orders one of every kind for the guy, piece by piece. Trinar is livid. Says buying everything guarantees a win since they're loaded, but the trainer warns money isn't the issue. Tries buying out the entire bookstore, prompting Trainer to mock his terrible spending. Furious, snaps back at the demon and denies it. He calls the princess even worse for ordering a massive birthday cake, but Trainer shuts down the comparison. The seller tells Eris to wait, so he orders tea and cake, sending Trainer into another fit of rage. Deported takes a seat. He asks Trainer if being dead makes him hungry. We sharpen our minds. He says losing his body killed his appetite, but asks if he still craves food that looks good. Trainer wasn't interested unless it was a new dish. Understood. He hits up the seller, makes his request, and heads back to the table. The seller finally apologizes for the wait. He slams the second dessert onto T's table. Trainer spots it and looks to for answers, but is clueless. He tells the demon eating him is pointless. It's a treat, just his way of showing how he feels. Trader says he wasted the cash again, but he already knows, he'll just eat it himself later. Trainer accepted his feelings anyway. Suddenly, people scramble to the windows, wondering what's going down. Spotted smoke on the mountain. They step outside to find the forest ablaze. One man shouts new cannons, but another demands an explanation. He heard from the guild, these are Japania's hunters. Now they're hunting the forest demon. Knew them in AKA, and he was terrified. The seller apologizes for the wait, the cakes are finally packed and ready. But the table was empty, they'd vanished and she had no idea why. Bolts full speed toward AKA's house. He vaulted the fallen trees, racing at full speed. Wondered if they meant AKA, but he lives a quiet life and bothers no one. Trainer told him the ogre said everyone he met feared him. He's not sure when they met, but this intel sends the hunters into action. Trainer tells him he knows the fear of ogres better than he does. He realized everyone was just as terrified the moment they met. He rushed to save AKA before the hunters killed him. Trainer tries to speak, but the guy misses it and asks again. Suddenly a voice calls out to spots a man ahead who asks why he's shouting alone in the forest. A deadly ogre lives there and the path leads straight to him. He asks if he's really the Japania hunter. He asked what he knew about them, they'd become a massive hit. Trainer warns to watch out for this guy. They were surrounded. Trainer warns, one's right behind them, another's to his back right. Guild hunters or not, they're no weaker than him. The man warns Eris to find a detour and stay out of their way. Asked him something just in case. Is asked about the ogre's fate. He never expected they'd kill him, and if he's not alone, they're all getting wiped out. He warns he's too young to know the danger of letting these monsters live. The demon army swarmed with monsters, but frontline ogres led the slaughter. The demon king is dead and peace is back, but his scattered army still roams the world. They're still sharpening their fangs, hungry for revenge. It's too dangerous, civilians are strictly forbidden from entering. Didn't expect revenge, AKA is too kind and just wants to make friends. Let's go with He apologizes to for blocking his path. Asks if they can let the ogre go this time. Trainer turns to but he's ignored. Tells the hunter the ogre saved him yesterday. Trainer facepalms as admits he was terrified at first, but talking to him proved he's actually a good guy. He reveals he got lost, but the ogre fed him, housed him, and guided him to the city. The beast just wanted a human friend. His words echoed in the hunter's mind. He asks if he's joking, warning him they won't waste time on his nonsense. Snaps, shoving the hunter aside, he won't let them kill his friend. Suddenly a smokescreen engulfs the earth. Blinded, he had no idea where to run. A heavy blow slams his neck. It's Shinobu. The hunter demands to know why she's there. Shinobu eyes the guy, claiming she's seen him recently. The hunter asks if she knows him. Shinobu nods. She'd spotted him back in the city. Suddenly, Shinobu hears a rustle nearby. She spins around to find Urza awake and standing right behind her. Shinobu's stunned. She's certain she knocked him out. He tells her they're almost there. Ur knew she would have hit him if he hadn't ducked. Shinobu asks if he'll fight. He doesn't hesitate. He's forcing his way through, no matter the numbers. The guard orders Shinobu to stay put. 3 against a kid is overkill. He'll finish this alone. The guard strikes instantly with high-speed Japanese running skills. Trainer watched impressed. He was finally fast enough. His insane footwork is so precise, you lose track of your own movements. After her training, this was no threat to Urza. Ern stops the guard with a sarcastic greeting. Urza deflects the blow, leaving the guards stunned. They can't believe their eyes. Ur tells the warriors he can do that too. Urza unleashes the great demonic step, stunning the warriors with his Japanese footwork. Trainer, I thought that was a lie. He mastered these moves during stair training. He uses Japanese skill to feint and bait his foe. He's way better at faking out his opponents. Ur lunges at Shinobu, but a warrior leaps in to shield her. Baffled by Urza's feints, the warrior hesitates and takes a direct hit. The warrior was desperate to know this guy's identity. He's no ordinary kid. Stay sharp or they're finished. Trainer thought they were masters, but he clearly overestimated them. They're far slower than the swordmatter's lightning-fast speed. The warrior warns Urza he's gotta push harder to win this fight. Urza asks Trainar's next move. The demon calls it an imperial spell. Japan's 2 warrior villages are home to the sword-wielding samurai. Others protect Japania from the shadows, the ninjas. The warrior blasts a spiral wind vortex at Urza. Urza tells the warrior it's wind magic. Urza slams down a solid earth wall. The warrior was stunned. This shouldn't be possible. Anders kept slamming his fist into the earth and wall with everything he had. Panicked, the warrior realized the stones were just a distraction. Urza smashes the warrior's face and blurs past Shinobu. He was thrilled. Urza called the Japan ninjas weak. Trainer kills the hype, calling them weaklings, while Urza thinks the demon actually praised him. Trainer expected little. Ninjas thrive in stealth, but charging head-on was a massive mistake. Master elite techniques to counter the second gen. Ordinary warriors don't stand a chance. The trainer sensed trouble. Shinobu turns and calls him incredibly strong. He crushed Iga and Kagu instantly. If things were different, she might have actually fallen for him. First, he asked her if it was true. Too bad he's got zero interest in fakes and cheaters. Shinobu paused, then apologized. He was totally overwhelmed. He didn't realize her bloodlust was real. Shinobu tells Iris she's undefeated in Japania, dominating Go, beauty, and combat. He draws her weapon. Shinobu reveals only 2 matter, Hero Master Kajiro and the brother he respects. Train tensed, doubting she was really the ninja's student. Grinning like a maniac, Shinobu plunged Urza into a storm of emotions. Ninjas lurked in the shadows, secretly backing Japania. As a child, Shinobu blindly idolized Thor, never questioning the details. To fulfill her meta, she joins a ninja school. The girl instantly aced every task. Teachers and students alike showered her with praise for her perfect results. But her light snuffed out in a heartbeat. In class, a girl realizes her teacher's explanation is garbage and knows a better theory to use instead. She's counting the days until graduation, desperate to land a job and escape this low-level dump forever. Ninjas bow as their mission is set: protect the Ogre Ritsu family's eldest son. In a taboo, Ritsu's favorite story comes to life as he forces the warriors to dress as the heroes and entertain him. The warriors are completely spent. He apologizes, explaining they're ninjas meant for fighting, not theater. Enraged, the man demands the ego, let him unleash his own fury. The Demon King's war is over, peace reigns, and the battles they crave are gone. As Kajiro's 7 heroes, their elite results earned them a spot in this mansion and a life of luxury. Battle-hungry freaks turned into hitmen or sold their bodies for cash. If they get it, they better give that work their whole soul. Stung by the words, she questions why she ever chased this dream. Aigu es done, they're ditching Japania, the thrill is dead. They realized the country was done with ninjas. Left cold-hearted, they only perform meaningless tasks. Shinobu fought on until meeting Urza. He looks at her and sees her aura has completely shifted. She was the weakest link. He had nothing to fear, desperately fighting to keep his panic in check. Suddenly, Shinobu hurls a barrage of knives at him. He barely dodges one. Stunned by his reflexes, Shinobu praises him, but she isn't backing down. He hurls every knife at once. He barely dodges. Urza is stunned by their relentless flight, but Trainart identifies them as kunai, deadly ninja throwing weapons. This brawler's luck is trash, so he has to close the gap and force a melee. He's just tuning in when a massive log suddenly rockets toward him. Error dodges him again. Shocked, he asks about the log. Trainer's answer, it's a trap. He realized why the win was so easy. It was a decoy to help her get the guy. Shinobu didn't stop, hurling knives and logs at Urza. Ur still dodges. Shinobu notes his insane awareness. She unleashes ninja water magic, summoning a thick fog. Stunned, Urz double-checked if it was really fog. Trainer warns him Shinobu's hiding in the fog. He's blinded and she's a master ninja. Trainard almost reveals the location, but Urz is suddenly stabbed in the back. Grimacing, he powered through and pulled a knife. Urz blasts a kilometer-long lightning bolt at Shinobu. Trainer tells him to stop because it makes zero sense. She's too fast, blind attacks are useless and only drain his magic. Urz's patience snapped, screaming that Shinobu was unfair and calling her a sly cheat. Trainer realized she'd just been lucky. He mocked the enemy head-on, sacrificing himself to set the stage for the next fight. Real battlefields aren't fair and there are no rules. Dirty tricks don't matter, dead men can't talk and the survivor is always right. Teach her she's still a warrior outside the empire. The demon watched, knowing he'd run out of strength soon. Time for a lifeline. Urz on the run, but he can't escape or fight back. He's completely out of moves. I had to blast this fog away. Urz spots Shinobu darting right in front of him. She knew he was beyond human, but he wasn't attacking. Still, it wasn't enough to ignite her. Shinobu tells Urz it's enough, it's time to end this. She unleashes earth magic, hurling a barrage of boulders. Stones fly straight at him, but he doesn't even flinch. Ur never thought he'd have to use this technique again. He unleashes the great demonic spiral. Stunned, Shinobu demands Shigerin explain where her fog vanished. Shinobu looks around, her fog and the trees have vanished. Shinobu struggles to her feet. As silence falls, only 2 barren trees remain beside her. Shinobu froze as the forest vanished. He'd blasted everything away. Urza approaches the girl. He finally found her. Shinobu had to escape Urza fast. He reacts fast, catching her hand just in time. Shinobu turns, but his fist is already closing and she's too slow. Seeing that flickering light, she knew the girl was finished. Her heart hammered like it would explode, and she loved every second. Shinobu was burning up. She smiled, exactly what she needed. Suddenly, Urz froze, his fist stopping inches from her face. Stunned, Shinobu asks what happened, but Urz shuts her down. That's enough. She lost and they both knew it. He told her to stay away. Shinobu stops him cold. This isn't a game. Don't let him mock her. She tells Urz she's not even worth the final blow. Furious, he screams at her to shut up. He hates hitting a pretty face, so he demands she change it to make the beating easier. Stunned, Shinobu clutched her face, fighting back tears. As Earth leaves, Trainarch asks why he never hit the girl, but the guy just sighs. Shinobu is stunned by his pretty face comment, but as he confidently closes in, Eris reminds the demon who the real monster is. Shinobu's emotions boiled over, her body heat surging as she started to melt. Here's bolts for the ogre while Shinobu's dazed, but she instantly intercepts him, begging him to listen. Shinobu asks for his name and stats, but Urz tells her to shut up and tunes her out. Urz asks why she's following him, but she just introduces herself as Shinobu Stoke. Urz snaps, asking if she's even listening. Shinobu yells she's the Stoke family's eldest daughter, a lifelong ninja prodigy who crushed every Go Battle tournament. The crazy-eyed girl fell hard, calling him her type. Stunned, he asks what she's even saying. Trainer overhears the guys and admits he doesn't get women, asking what triggers such deep love. Urz tells the demon even humans are clueless. She's obsessed and hunting for a Ka, but her new attitude won't change his mind. He senses her relentless pursuit from afar. If she catches him, it's game over. Sh Nabu stops Urza to help, warning her that her brother is waiting just ahead. He's already way stronger, a genius recognized by Kajiro's 7 heroes. Even Urza stands zero chance. Tensed up, geniuses and the 7 heroes again. Ursk sprints on as the man claims the forest's end is near. Suddenly, AKA appears right in Ur's face. He's on edge and the trainer confirms his suspicions. He spotted Shinobu's brother in the ashes. Trainer called them fools. Those can't handle an ogre. Shinobu calls out to her brother, but he doesn't answer. The board streaks past Earth and slams into a tree. AKA snapped, the ogre roaring he'd never forgive humanity. Raynar says angry ogres lose control. He's gone completely berserk. Ninja torched the house and snatched the ogre's most valuable prize. He can't even recognize Urza standing right there. Terrified, he mistakes AKA for a polite, emotional ogre who just wants friends. Instead, he faces a new monster, and a livid AKA screams in pure rage. Urz can barely stand. The roar has his legs shaking and they won't listen to him. Shaking and visions spinning, his friend was killed. He was innocent, but the terror finally broke him. If he reveals himself now, he's the next one to be destroyed. Demon's paralyzed by fear. The ogre's home is ash and his rage is justified. It's all the ninja's fault. Emotions kill logic. Facing a monster, fear takes over and nobody can think straight. Trainer hated the human-demon divide, but now he's paralyzed by pure terror. The ogre Aka was furious. AKA didn't get what he'd done, he just wanted peace. He faced Shinobu's brother, demanding his house and garden back now. Shuddering, the man asks about that quiet life, pretty rich coming from a murderous ogre. He reminds AKA the ogre preys on the weak, don't believe a word he says. He's a monster. Hearing those words aimed at me was brutal. Trainer says it's pointless, he can't hear him anymore. AKA snapped, letting out a dark, menacing roar. He lunged at Shinobu's brother with a massive punch as she watched in terror. Urs bolts from his seat, leaps, and kicks the ogre's hand away from the boy. Everyone's stunned. Urs actually did it to him. Urs vows never to forgive him for hurting his friend, claiming he'd catch a beating if Urs weren't injured, but the guy just tells him to get lost. She grabs her brother and heads into the forest as tells the ogre humans are cruel, labeling everything as demons because they're terrified of themselves. They're selfish, ignoring everyone's feelings. Aka never planned to destroy anything. Urs nearly became that ninja, once paralyzed by the fear of everyone's judgment. Shinobu tells him to stop the act. Once an ogre snaps, they're unbeatable. Enraged, he snaps and screams at her to shut up. He told them not to dare open their mouths, they were guilty of it all. He turns to Aka, vowing he won't let him kill anyone. He shouldered his friend's rage and grief. Instantly aims his fist at him. Wait, AKA aims his fist instantly. Let's go with AK. Shinobu and her brother watch in shock as the guy demands Urs call the ogre a friend. What is he even thinking? Shinobu didn't know. Normally she'd drag him away and run, but do the guilty even have the right to stop him? Drunk by an ogre's blow, Urs warns Trainer, one hit and he's finished. He asks if the demon's gone mad. Trainer says he's just annoyed they're running in circles. If he stalls, things spiral. Agrees, but he can't strike Aka. Trainer reminds him he promised to shoulder all the ogre's rage and sorrow. Yast asks if he knows how to snap an ogre out of its web of rage. He starts this very moment. His name is Saul. Urs is stunned, but Trainer says there are no winners here. Even if you can't stand, if he doesn't run, your feelings will reach him. Shinobu notices Urs suddenly stopped dead. She demanded to know why he wasn't running, then screamed for him to watch out as the ogre closed in. Urs refused to run, but the ogre instantly smashed his head. Aka writhed, screaming in agony. Remember, the forehead is the body's strongest point. Max your breakthrough and you can tank a full force hit from an ogre. Urs is fading, his head splitting, but if he holds out, AKA will return. Trainer's on thin ice, one twitch of his fist and that guy's head is history. Vision, speed, and reflexes were everything. In a soul that knows no fear. Aka bashes his head again. Urs apologizes to the ogre for the humans wrecking his hand-built home and beloved garden. Everything was destroyed. He slept with Urza and cooked dinner, but couldn't even bring him a thank you cake. Humans, ogres, they're all the same. Aka slams Urza's head again. Barely resisting, he warns they snap and go berserk if anything breaks. The ogres were way stronger than humans. The ogre's fury peaked. Shinobu watched, baffled by Riz's motives. He could just walk away and let him cool off. Why risk his life? Trainer tells them they won't get it. He knows the cost of being feared better than anyone, especially by those he loves. Urs reaches out until the end, screaming until he hits his heart. Trainer laughed at the petty fools who called his bravest student weak. Urs tanks another ogre hit. Trainer mocks him, saying fools can't appreciate a view this breathtaking. He's risking everything for a friend, a true hero. Aka collapses, completely spent. He's got nothing left and his legs won't move. House, garden, furniture all gone. He has nowhere left to go and he's too exhausted to even think about it. The ogre's fading out, but Urs reaches him and smacks his head to snap him awake. The ogre spots the guy and shouts. Urs checks him and he faints instantly. Aka is stunned by the shabby guy. The ogre mocks Urs's injuries, but is he the one responsible? He grins at the monster and flashes 2 fingers. Tearing up, the ogre asks why he'd go that far. They just met yesterday, why risk everything for a monster? He remembered the ogre's words. Urs was a great guy. He faced the ogre and admitted he'd said exactly what the beast wanted to hear. Ogres pack massive destructive power. Aka hates himself this way. AKA lays him down and starts cooking while Urs sleeps it off. He wakes up and asks the ogre what happened. He remembered blacking out, his head throbbing from the non-stop hits. Urs sits up bandaged and thanks Aka, but the ogre stops him. The girl did it. AKA hung his head, telling the guy he couldn't believe they trashed his home. Bowing low, Shinobu screams she knows she's overstepping, but tells Aka this man is her world. She wouldn't take no for an answer. Hearing about Shinobu again, Urs asks the ogre if he's serious. The ogre asks if Urs knows the girl, but he's never seen her. aka notes she's a pro at bandaging. She even patched up the ogre himself. Realized what happened while he slept, and the ogre remembered the girl's request to hand it over. Spots a census notebook but has no clue why he needs it. Opens the notebook to find Shinobu's note. She knows his name, but she's keeping it a secret. She wants him to admit it, but he plays dumb. Too bad her poem proves she saw his battle with the ogre. To save his friend, he crushed the Japania ninjas without backing down. She'd seen many warriors, but was one of a kind. Facing a raging ogre, he stands tall and fearless, though remembers he was just paralyzed with terror. He read that even in danger, he refused to leave him behind. She finally realized humans and monsters can be friends. Battle over, she spots a tear rolling down the ogre's cheek. Her heart clenched too. Haunted by his petty soul, she regrets raiding his home for a quick payday. It's an apology letter, not a notepad. AKA echoed the gang leader's words, promising to fix the house and garden to make amends. Asked what the ogre said. AKA says he refused. He was done messing with them. He ordered them down the mountain in silence. Ursa understood no apology could ever heal the ogre's scarred soul. It wouldn't be that easy. Reads on. Shinobu admits he's already stolen her heart. She's ready to marry him instantly and wants to know him better. She wants my life story in this notebook. Flips the page to find a massive list of questions. The girl wondered his food tastes, favorite girls, if he'd accept a kiss first, his ideal first-time scenario, preferred breast size, how many kids he wants, and where they'd be registered. Couldn't read it, slamming the notebook shut. AKA asks what happened, but the guy brushes it off. Soon he digs into dinner. The ogre knew his next move. Aka hung his head, admitting he's thinking of leaving. Mountain City knows his secret and they're coming for him. Annoyed, he says he gets the message. Suddenly asks the ogre if he's cool with him backing out. Stunned, the ogre demands an explanation and he reveals his goal: explore the world, gain experience, and achieve greatness. AKA tags along, they're definitely having a blast. Aka asks to tag along and Eris welcomes him. Touched by the gesture, the ogre bursts into tears. AKA calls her a good person, making him smile. Asks where he's headed. Sobbing, AKA reveals he's leaving the Empire for the first time. He thanked the guy for the rescue and for his friendship. And Aka finally hit the sack. Asks if it's morning, but Trainar reveals it's already noon. Stretches, shocked he slept this long. He asks Trainar for the KA. Trainar slaps his hand on the paper, leaving the guy stunned. Reads a letter from Aka. The ogre checks his wounds and apologizes again, but is totally confused. Reading further, he realizes the ogre can't join him. He's been quiet, but he's a former warrior for the Demon King. Raised among dark elves instead of ogres, his entire family was sent to the front lines the moment war broke out. He never met any ogres outside his family until now. The ogre army slaughtered everyone. She ripped off heads, buried victims alive, and crushed them underfoot. Aka was paralyzed with fear at the horrific sight. He couldn't blame those seeking revenge. Aka reveals his parents lost control and started killing. He couldn't stop the army or end the suffering. Aka was done with this hell. He betrayed the army and fled, and now the demon world is hunting him down. He spent 10 years hiding on Earth alone, hoping a human friend would finally end his loneliness. Aka couldn't understand forgiving the ogres who slaughtered his people, so Urza's friendship meant the world to him. The ogre won't leave his beloved bird behind, even though the pet is banned from hotels, restaurants, and the entire city. AKA admits Earth is his only friend, so he refuses to burden him. Bolts into the forest. Trainer yells after him, but snaps back. Doesn't the demon get it? He has to catch Aka. Trainar says it's useless, he left before dawn and can't be caught. Furious, the guy demands to know why Trainar didn't warn him. Trainer respects the choice. He can't talk, he's the reason this war started. He's livid, no one warned him AKA would interfere. Trainer denies saying it, but the ogre can't stand being a burden. His kindness and love for Urza are tearing him apart. Refused to stop, leaping back up and bolting. He scales the rock and takes a deep breath. He roared the ogre's name with everything he had. The monster swore to protect his distant friend under the same sky. The ogre looked up, flashing 2 fingers and a grin. Fiona confronts her father at the palace, begging him to change his mind. The whole city brands her a criminal. They're demanding life in prison or the death penalty. Fiona says even the palace is full of mindless fools, shamelessly saying whatever they want. Fiona saw no point in doing that. Soldier says he can't fix it, but Fiona reaches out again. Soldier warns her she's clueless about the Demon King's carnage. His army butchered everyone she loved, parents, siblings, and spouses. She took everything from the Sadies, leaving a raw fear and anger that still burns like it happened yesterday. Fiona tensed, fists clenched. She swore hers wasn't the Demon King and didn't kill those people. Soldier warns Fiona that even a hint of pain drives people's actions, and they can't force anyone to change their mind about Urza. The public will demand his head, but a terrified Fiona insists it's impossible. Doja tells her the boy is precious, he's the son of his old comrades. He let him go for the match, but now he's powerless to help. The soldier tells Fiona to forget her, it's for the best. Fiona was livid and hated it. Fu and rival talk in the hallway. Fu asks his rival if he remembers when the four of them, including Urza and the princess, played heroes. Rival asks why he remembers this now. He told him Urza led them back then. Eating daily on the streets, they vowed to one day surpass their fathers. Fu smiles, vowing to surpass their parents. A brave promise, but then he notices glowing from the inside out. His bold words always lift their spirits. Fu asks his rival to agree, making him reflect on Fuzz's words. His rival says the past is dead. He expected to lead, but the massive power gap changed Earth forever. And the respected vanished. Bai chuckles, telling the guy he's changed again. Lost in memory, he tells rival they were inseparable as kids. As their paths split, they stop talking and sharing their lives. They stop talking, and now he knows nothing about Urza. Fiona leaves Sol's office, looking tense and heartbroken. Food reads her face, but she cuts him off. His decision to execute Urza stands. Terrified, she warns that even her father couldn't calm the mob, but who said that? Even finding Urza won't save them now. Fiona cuts him off, shouting that Urza is their childhood friend and she'll protect him against the world. Fu tries to speak again, but a guard cuts him off to call Fiona. He apologizes to the princess, saying a man needs to see her immediately. Hiro remembered his son's struggle, the constant comparisons, and the pressure to live up to his legacy. He never cared or supported him, so Hiro once told him he wished he was never born his son. Hiro winced, then a guard called out. Guards at the pit where Eris vanished tell Hiro that Doug's trail is dead, leaving them with 0 leads on his next move. The guard warns Hiro squads are nearby hunting for a man. 0 leads means the search is frozen solid. Hiro hears the warrior out and gets the picture. He tells the guard his low mana means he's still close to the city. He warned the warriors to skip the pit and stick to the surface. Urza's father realized his son's mana was bottomless. Those tournament moves would have drained any normal person dry. He escaped, but Hiro knew his low mana meant he was still close. Hiro admits he gave it away. He had no clue his son was this strong. No illusions, just pure mockery. Hiro had finally mastered the technique. Hiro realized he never praised his son for his achievements. He realized his mistake. Damn. Guilt gnaws at him. Why didn't he listen? He never asked about his son's pain or purpose, and now he's lost him forever. Guard interrupts with an urgent message from the capital squad. Hiro orders him to speak. He asks if they finally found Urza, but the guard says it's not him. Fiona, Janine, and Midai Fu have vanished. Shaken with fear, Hiro demands the warrior repeat the impossible news. Deep in the forest, the hero's kids and allies assemble, but Mamu is stunned. There are way more of them than she expected. Mamu spots Fiona in the crowd and warns the Imperial heir. Showing up here is a mistake that won't end well. Fiona stood firm and refused, certain she could crush any knight in the Empire. She had to face as herself. She's done waiting in the palace for someone else to find him. Mamu tries one last time to talk Fiona into returning. Fu tells the mom he's unsure of Urza's feelings, but he's a precious childhood friend. Fu asks what it was like, and Rival agrees. Dad grins, telling the guys everyone's thinking the same thing. They want Earth back now to see him again ASAP. Everyone wants to know his fears and goals. To avoid another mistake, Sadie listens and agrees with Mamo. My mole powers up and asks the guys if they're ready to hit the road. Beyond the capital walls, she can't keep them all safe. Mamu tells the guys, time to move out. The guys backed her up, shouting their agreement. Urza didn't wait for the ogre's answer, hopping off the stone and heading into the forest to process everything. Doc caught the vibe and told the guy he was already on his way. The demon didn't wait for an answer. Cranner comforts the guy, telling Urza the hero once dreamed of a world where humans and demons were equal. Verse grills Trainer about his father. Trainer doubles down, claiming war is useless and preaching universal peace. Cultural clashes are inevitable, and even the smallest spark ignites a war. Wars happen within species, but they're even more common between different ones. Verse called his actions pointless, but Trainer disagreed. He saved the ogre and granted his wish for friendship, gaining a powerful new ally. Beer said nothing changed. Trainer said he's changing it now. Trainer told him to remember the ogre and grow stronger. He shouldn't have stopped there. Trainer tells him to explore the world, hoping their actions reveal a clue. The clue our hero missed. Trainer tells him his steps are small, but experience and passion never lie. Now the world flips upside down. Urza's just getting started.